Welcome back YouTube, and in today's video I'm going to walk you through exactly how you can build this travel blog that you're looking at right now by making use of Elementor. Now Elementor has two different versions. You've got the free version of the plugin, but you also have the paid version. I'm going to show you how you can work with the free version first of all to build this site, and then later I will switch over to the paid version of Elementor and show you what you can do with the paid version, because obviously the paid version will have a lot more features and functionalities. But the whole point of this tutorial is to show you how you can build the entirety of this website by not having to pay anything at all. Now, before I give you a tour of what we're going to build together, let me also mention that we're going to make use of the Hello theme from Elementor. It is a free theme. Again, you don't have to pay for it, but then we're also going to make use of a third-party plugin called the Essential Add-ons for Elementor. Again, it's a free plugin. You don't have to pay for it. So we're going to use these tools and Elementor to build out this website. Now, to give you a very quick tour, this website is meant to be a travel blog. And what you can see right now is the home page. We're going to have the header, your traditional header, with the logo on the left and then the main menu on the right. However, notice that we do have a transparent background banner, the image right there that you can see. And we're going to have the main banner where travel means adventure, book your trip now. And then for the rest of the homepage, we're going to have different types of sections in here. We'll have also the image carousel that pulls in images from our media library. We're also going to have the blog section. I'll show you how you can create like an alternative blog section for articles from specific categories. There will also be like a call to action button saying deals and packages, click here to get your own package. We're also going to have reviews from past customers. And then finally, we'll have the footer there as well. And then for the other pages, I'm going to show you how you can build the traditional blog page, where we'll have all our blog posts and then categorized into different categories as well. And we'll also show you how you can build the contact page that will have your traditional contact form. I'm also going to show you how you can import pre-built templates from other plugins. Like this, for example, we didn't build this. This is actually a pre-built template. So I'm going to show you how you can actually import pre-built templates to your site and then modify them to your heart's content. And then once we're done with all of this, I will now introduce Elementor Pro and show you what you can do with the paid version of Elementor, because it is so much more powerful than the free version. Now, speaking of Elementor Pro, if you do decide to buy Elementor Pro, please do consider using my affiliate link, which you'll find in the description box below. What this means is that when you buy Elementor with my own link, I will get a small commission from them, and it's a great way to support me and support what I'm doing here on the channel. So thank you for your support. Now, before I go, let me just mention two more things. First of all, regarding hosting and getting your domain name, I've already covered that topic extensively in other videos. I've covered specifically how to work with SiteGround, how you can buy your domain name and host with SiteGround. So if you're interested, I'll have the link in the box below as well. But then for Elementor hosting, you can actually host your website with Elementor as well. I've already made a full video covering how you can do that. I will have the link in the box below as well. So you can either go with Elementor hosting, or you can go with another third-party hosting like SiteGround as an example. The choice is yours. And finally, if by the end of this tutorial there are certain things about Elementor that you wanted to learn which you haven't, I do have extensive tutorials here on YouTube. I've been making Elementor tutorials for over 4 years now. So I will invite you to check out my playlist on Elementor, and I have a good feeling that you will find what you're looking for in the playlist, because I've covered so much on Elementor already. So without wasting any more time, let's get started with this tutorial. Before we begin building our website and installing Elementor, we need to get some content onto our website first. Now, I have already created 9 different blog posts. These are the posts right here, and you can see I've got 3 different categories for Asia, Europe, and South America. And then each of these categories have 3 different posts. So I'm going to provide you with the XML file that you can use to import these blog posts. And then just to show you real quick, each of these posts have a featured image. And then there is also the title and then some dummy text. So you can choose to import the XML file which will provide you, or you can create your very own WordPress posts. Also, the media, I'm going to provide you with all the images you're looking at right now. I'll provide them in the resources folder. If you're having any difficulty trying to get the XML file or these images, do let me know. I should mention that each post also has a featured image. Let me show you real quick. So if you want to match the blog post to the images, it's right here. So you have visiting a Buddhist temple, for this in St. Petersburg. You have Rainbow Mountain. You have fashion in Istanbul, city of Glasgow, beach day in Rio, and then magical Singapore, Chiang Rai, and then Mount Fit. So if you would like to match the featured images I have in here to the blog posts, you can do so. Or, like I said, you can create your very own posts and use your featured images. You're welcome to do that. Also, once you're done, create 4 different pages. Create pages for the About page, Articles page, Contact, and then Home. Once you're done creating these 4 pages, come down here to Settings, go to Reading, and then you can change the homepage displays from latest posts to a static page, and then simply set your homepage to Home, and then your posts page to Articles. So once you're done with that, we can now move on to the very next video. It is now time for us to install the almighty Elementor plugin. So let's come down here to plugins, click on add new. And then right here, I'm going to go ahead now and search for Elementor. Press enter. And of course, it's the very, very first option in here. I'm going to go ahead now, click on install. And let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, so it's been installed. Now we're going to go ahead to simply activate the plugin. Now, when you do that, simply come down here to install plugins. And basically, we're trying to refresh the page. So once you click on install plugins, or you click on any other link within your WordPress directory, this new page will show up. This is now the Elementor setup wizard. Now, you could choose to create your account on Elementor, which will give you additional perks like you can manage the site from the dashboard. You can also take part in the community. But there's a possibility that you may not be interested in this. You can always create your account later. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead now and simply click on skip. All right. Now, the second step here is to install the Hello theme. This is a theme we're going to use because it is the theme made by Elementor themselves, and it's a pretty lightweight theme. We're going to be using most of the design and style and functionality from the Elementor plugin itself. So we're going to go ahead now, click on continue with the Hello theme. And then we can now give our website a name. So I'm going to provide my name here, which is going to be Passport Travel. That's the name of the blog. So I'll click on next. Now we can add our logo. So I'm going to click on Open Media Library. And now for now, the actual logo we're going to use is this one right here with the white text and the white outline. But for now, let's use this one that's green, and I'll explain why later. So let's just choose this one for now. Click on select. All right. And then we'll click on next. And there is it. So right here, I'm just going to click on skip because we don't need to work with the canvas yet or use any sort of templates. So I'll just click on skip, and now it's loading. And so the thing here is this: depending on when you're watching this video, you may see this pop-up box telling you about Elementor's AI. If you don't, well, it's fine. But if you do, just simply click on continue. And then right here, you're going to have additional pop-up boxes appearing. Again, if you don't see this, that's perfectly fine. But if you do, you can activate the container. All right. Now, in case you don't see those pop-up boxes, once you're in the WordPress backend here, you'll see Elementor. Come down here to settings and then go to features right here. This is basically the ongoing new kinds of functionality that Elementor are currently adding to the plugin. Now, some are still in a testing phase, while some are already ready to be implemented. So what I'll recommend you to do is, where you see the Flexbox container, set this one to active. This is a very good element to have installed. So we're going to choose the Flexbox container active for now, and then right down here where you have the lazy load background images, this is going to be great for performance, for speed, so we're going to make that one active as well. And now right here you have the stable features. These ones, by the way, are still ongoing. However, they've been tested to a pretty satisfactory phase at this point, so it's pretty safe to make the Flexbox container active, as well as the lazy load background images active as well. Now, for stable features, I would highly recommend make them active, active. Now, the additional custom breakpoints, this will come back to this later once we're dealing with the responsive design for the website. So for now, let's just keep this one on default. And then the other ones, you can keep them on default as well. I'm going to go ahead now, save the changes. And there it is. All right, let me show you a few other things within the Elementor plugin itself. So while we're under settings, if you were to go to general, in here, by default, you should have posts and pages already checked. This is basically you giving permission to Elementor to be able to design such content on your site. If you have any other kind of custom post types, you will be able to enable the checkboxes next to them here, meaning that Elementor will be able to, you'll be able to use Elementor basically to design those pages for those particular custom post types. Now, over here where it says disable default colors and disable default fonts, we actually want to uncheck these two boxes. The reason why is because when you check these boxes, you're basically saying, hey, the Elementor plugin will inherit the colors, the default colors and default fonts from the theme that we're using. This will be a good option when you're using a very powerful theme and you want that theme to carry most of the design and functionality. However, in our situation, because we're using the Hello theme, which is a very lightweight theme, it's just a theme supporting the Elementor plugin, we don't want to inherit any colors or fonts from that theme. That's why we have disabled these two checkboxes. And then integrations in here, if you want to integrate your Google Maps, this is where you would add the API key. And then under advanced, honestly, there shouldn't be any reason for you to come over here and change anything. However, if for some reason you are having issues with Elementor, maybe the website is very slow or something keeps crashing, this would be where you can actually make certain kinds of advanced changes to how Elementor works. But 99% of the time, I highly doubt you would ever need to come in here and change anything. All right, I'm going to go ahead now, save changes. Now, just to give you a very quick walkthrough of the remaining options in here, you have the role manager. So in here, if you have multiple users with different kinds of levels of permission on your site, and you want to change the kinds of access that they have, this is where you can do so. So for example, if you wanted to make changes to the author role, you can say, hey, I don't want to give anyone who is an author on my site access to the Elementor editor and so on. And of course, if you're using the paid version of Elementor, you will have access to more options for control. Now, tools in here, this is actually a pretty good choice if you're having issues where you're making certain kinds of CSS changes. And by CSS changes, I mean maybe you've changed the color of a text or you've changed the color of your background. You save those changes, you refresh the page, you don't see those changes being applied on your site. You can come in here right now and simply click on regenerate files and data. And then once you're connected to your Elementor account, you can simply sync the library in here to get new options and updates and things like that. And then safe mode, this is typically for troubleshooting. If you're having issues, again, working with Elementor, this is where you can enable safe mode, and you can also enable the debug bar to give you error messages and things like that. And then replace URL. If you have like a new page, there's like a broken page, this is where you can update old links to point to new links. And then version control, in here is where you can roll back to previous versions of Elementor. Don't be surprised if maybe at some point Elementor releases a new update and then you install the update, you're very happy, but then something breaks. It happens. It rarely happens, but it could possibly happen. So in any scenario where you've installed a new update and the update isn't working as it should, you can simply come in here right now and roll back to the previous versions. And then you have your maintenance mode. If maybe you're building something on your site, you don't want users to be able to access the site, you can come in right now and simply choose like a coming soon page or like a maintenance, the website is under maintenance, that kind of thing. And then who would be able to access the website while it's under the maintenance mode? Will it be logged in users, or will it be like the admin or the editor and so on? And then if you want to go with a template, you would need to create an actual page representing either the coming soon page or the maintenance page. And then in here, you will be able to select that particular page. And then finally, in here, you have the option of exporting your template kit. So maybe you've built out your entire Elementor website, you're proud of it, and you like to have the exact same kind of content or layout on another website. You can simply export the template kit right here, and you can do the exact opposite by importing the template kit from another Elementor website. I'm going to go ahead now and show you the last few options. You do have the system info in here. Now, this is where you can find all sorts of information like your server, your WordPress environment, the amount of memory you have, and so on. So if you ever needed to reach out to Elementor for help and they ask you, hey, can you provide us with this particular information? We need to know more about your setup, about your server, your WordPress environment, things like that. This is where you'll find all the information necessary. And then submissions, we'll talk about submissions later. That involves the Elementor form element. And then you'll have the option of adding custom fonts and icons, but these are unfortunately available only with the paid version of Elementor. And just below Elementor, you'll have the templates section. This is where you can build out templates for like your header, your footer, your singles page, and so on. We'll handle this much later in the course, but that's it for now. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Now that we've installed Elementor, I want to give you a very quick preview or like a crash course on how Elementor actually works. How do you actually build content with the plugin? Now to do this, I'm going to go over to the pages, okay? I'm going to click on the home page here, and I'm going to click on edit, all right? Now, whenever you're trying to edit a page or a post, you will see right here this blue button that says edit with Elementor. You can click in there. Now, this will launch the user interface for the Elementor page builder plugin. Now, this is the logo that we added previously when we installed Elementor. Let's ignore that for now. But right here on the left, this is where you can begin to add elements onto your page. So right now you'll see we have layout, we have container, and then under basic we have elements like the heading, you have your image element, your text editor, and so on. So as an example, if I wanted to add an image to my page, I will simply click on the image element and then drag it inside this white box here. I'm going to drop that in there. So now that I've added the image element, I can then choose the actual image I want to display. So I'm going to click inside here, and as an example, let's display this image right here, and then select, and there you go. Now we have the image on our home page. Now, whenever you're working with the elements, typically you will have three different sections in here. You will have the content, the actual content for that element. So for example, since we're dealing with the image element in here, this is where we can choose the image we want to work with. And then we can customize additional things like the image size, the alignment, and so on. And then you'll have style. Style is where you can now do things like change the width of the element, the height, add like a background image, change the font size, and so on. These options in here will of course depend on the type of element that you're actually working with. And then finally, under advanced, this is where you can add your margins, add your paddings, add motion effects, and so on. So that's typically how Elementor works. On the left here, you'll have the elements. You simply click the element you want to work with, you drag it inside the box, and then edit that particular element. Now, up here, where you have the menu button, when you click in there, you'll have additional options like your site settings. Now, when you click on site settings, this is where you can now change things like the global colors, the fonts, which we'll take a look at next. And then you can make additional changes like your typography, your buttons, images, and so on. But if I go back, let me close the site settings. If I go back to the options in here, I will also have access to the theme builder, which we will handle or talk about later. And then you have your user preferences. I'm going to click inside here. And right here, you can choose the actual theme if you want to go with the light theme or the dark theme. Personally, I like the dark theme, but this is entirely optional and very, very relative. It depends on you. If you prefer the light theme, by all means, you can stick with the light theme, but I'm going to go with the dark theme from this point on. And then you can change additional things like your panel width. You can show hidden elements in the responsive design, which again, don't worry, we will take a look at this much later in the course. But I'm going to go back to the options in here, and then you'll have additional stuff like your notes, your finder, view page, and then exit. And then of course, this button right here is to display all the elements available for you to use. By the way, since we're using the free version of Elementor for now, under Pro, you will see that all these elements in here are locked. We cannot make use of these because these are available only with the paid option for Elementor. But further down, we have access to the general elements, and then we'll have access to the WordPress elements as well. And then if you're working with WooCommerce, if you install WooCommerce, you'll have options to add additional different kinds of elements with WooCommerce. Okay, let's scroll all the way down here. And now right here will be the settings for the page that you're working on. So if I click in there, as an example right here, I can change the title of the page if I wanted to, or I can simply change the status from published to private or pending review. And then I can also choose to hide the title, which is something that we should always do. It doesn't make any sense to display the page title, especially on the home page. If it's like the contact page, okay, maybe it might make sense to display the title contact on the contact page. But for like your home page, everybody knows it's the home page. You don't need to display the home page, the home title text on the home page. And then the page layout, you have different types. You have the Elementor canvas, you have the full width, and then you have the theme where it will pull the layout from the theme that you're using. We're going to stick with default for now. And then here is your navigator. As you begin to add more and more elements onto your page, you can use the navigator to quickly find the element that you want to work with, because right here on the right where you have navigator, all those elements will be listed in a hierarchical structure. So it's very, very easy for you to find the element that you want to work with. And then here would be your history. So if you've made changes, like you've changed the size of your text, or you changed the color of your text, things like that, this is where you'll be able to undo or redo whatever actions that you've taken. And then here is the responsive mode. We're going to take a look at this later. But when you're in responsive mode, you can choose to switch from desktop to your tablet view. So now you can take a look at how your pages would look like when it's viewed on a tablet device. And then you'll also have the mobile portrait where you will see how it will look like when it's been displayed on a mobile phone. And then here is where you can preview your changes, and then you'll have the update button in here as well. And by the way, you also have where you have the arrow. When you click in there, you can choose to save as a draft or save as a template. And that's basically a very quick crash course on how to use Elementor. Before I forget, let me just also quickly mention this. Whenever you add an element to your page, by default, unless you are adding an element into another element, which we'll take a look at later, but typically when you're adding an element, it will be inside of a container. You see this image right here, that's our image. But then right up here, you can see we have these three buttons that we have: add container, we have edit the container, and then we also have delete the container. So when we added the image element, Elementor by default created a container to hold the image element. Okay, and by the way, since the navigator is open in here, if I was to expand the container right here, now you can see we have the image element inside of the container element. So when you click on things like, let's say, edit the container, right here you can choose the content width. How wide do you want the container to be? So from boxed, you can go with full width as an example, or if you go back to box, you can make the container very narrow, and now you can see the image is shrinking because the container that's holding it, we are reducing its width. And then you can also set like a minimum height and things like that. You can change the direction and so much more. But don't worry, again, we're going to work with the container element a lot in this course. But that's a very quick preview on how Elementor works. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next class. Now that hopefully you've been able to import the posts to your WordPress website, let me show you how you can actually create your own blog posts by making use of Elementor and Elementor's AI. Now, I should also mention that this particular video, I recorded it at the end of the entire course because the AI literally was released just a couple of days ago. So this video you're watching is actually at the end of the course. And as such, I have already finished building the entire website, as you can see. But don't worry, I just want to show you how you can create posts using the Elementor AI. So it shouldn't be a problem that I've already built the entire site. Anyway, let me show you right now. I'm going to go ahead now and just click on add new, as you would add any regular post. All right, now here, let's say we wanted to create a post on the best things to do in Bangkok, for example. I'm actually going to go ahead and just edit with Elementor first. Okay, so let's edit with Elementor. And because we haven't given the post an actual title yet, Elementor by default will give it a temporary title. So the temporary title right now is Elementor hashtag 5479. Okay, now I want to create a title, a catchy title for the best things to do in Bangkok, right? So I'm going to go ahead now and drop the heading element on the basic. So I'll drop it in here. All right, and now right here, you're going to see this link here that says write with AI. So let's use AI to generate a catchy title for our blog post. I'm going to click on write with AI. Now you're going to get different types of prompts. What kind of header or title are you looking for? Is it a catchy slogan? Is it a strong section header for? We're looking for a blog title, right? So I'm going to say create a blog title for. So I'm going to choose that one, and then I'll say best things to do in Bangkok. Okay, so let's go ahead right now and generate the text, and let's see what the AI can come up with. And there you go. Bangkok bucket list, the ultimate guide to the best things to do and see in the city of angels. That's actually really good. So you do have additional options in here, like you can simplify the language, you can make it longer, shorter, you can change the tone as well, and so on. But I like this title. I think it's very good. So I will go ahead right now and use this text. Okay, now we want to use this as the actual title of our blog post. So what I'll do right now is I'll copy everything in here, copy. Okay, now I'm going to come down here where you have the settings for this particular page, click in there, and now here I can change the title to what the AI gave us, and there we go. Bangkok bucket list, the ultimate guide to the best things to do and see in the city of angels. Now I know that the title is very large. Don't worry, later on in the course I'm going to show you how you can reduce the font size of your headers. Okay, the whole point of this video is just to show you how you can create the actual post content. Okay, now I'm going to come over here and simply remove the title because we no longer need it. It's already the title of the post. So let me close that one. Let's go back to our elements here, and now I'm going to drag the text editor. Okay, this will be the element that will hold our post content. So I'm going to drop it inside this box right here. Okay, and then here again, right here, I'm going to click on write with AI, and And now I'll simply say we want to create a blog post for, that's the prompt, right? We're creating a blog post for, so I'll click in there, and then I'll say for the best things to do in Bangkok. All right, and now let's go ahead and generate the text and let the Elementor AI do its magic. The thing is, if you're already comfortable working with ChatGPT, for creating posts and things like that, then using the Elementor's AI is going to be very, very easy as well. So there you go. When it comes to city life, Bangkok is an essential destination for travelers, blah, blah, blah. So it gave us 5 top things to do. Okay, I want to make it longer. So let's click on make it longer here. All right. So let's see what will happen. And okay, sometimes you may get this message saying the AI is temporarily unavailable. Let me try again. Hopefully it should work this time, because that will be very, very unfortunate because I'm recording. But that's the thing with AI. Sometimes you get good results, sometimes it doesn't work, but we'll keep on trying. And there you go. Okay, so it made it slightly longer. But let me show you something, okay? If you're not happy with the kinds of results you're getting from the AI, one thing you could do is you could try changing the prompt. Try changing the instructions that you've given it. So in this case right now, I will say new prompt, but instead of saying create a blog post for the best things to do in Bangkok, I will say create a blog post for the top 10 best things to do in Bangkok. So you can see right now, I'm being more specific now. I'm telling the Elementor AI, give me the top 10 best things to do in Bangkok. So I'll go right now, generate the text for it. And now Elementor AI knows that, okay, I want specifically 10 top things to do in Bangkok. And let's wait for a few more seconds. Hopefully this won't take too long. And there you go. And you can see right now, we have exactly 10 top things to do in Bangkok. And of course, just like with the title, you can simplify the language, make it longer, shorter. You could also change the tone as well to friendly, inspirational, although I will say that in my experience, the results I've gotten from changing the tone have been kind of mixed. Sometimes you get good results, sometimes you get very mediocre results, so take note of that. And of course, you can also translate to, I believe, about 29 languages as of the time of me recording this particular video. So I like this. I'm going to go ahead now and simply use the text, and there you go. One more piece of content we can create with the Elementor AI would be images. So right here, I'm going to drag the image element, and let's say we want to drop it just above the content area. Again, right here, I can say create with AI. And now we need to specify, all right, what kind of image are we looking for? Since this is a post about, Bangkok, let me say the Bangkok skyline. Okay. And now the image type, is it going to be photographic, background, digital art, handmade, or 3D? I'm going to go with photographic. Okay. And then the style will be landscape, and then landscape, let's say 16:9. And now generate the image. I need to tell you something in here, okay? When it comes to generating images with the AI, if your image is factual based, what I mean here is Bangkok skyline is something that's real. You can't make it up, right? Unfortunately, for these kinds of images that are, again, factual, the Elementor AI, and in fact, other AI out there, don't really do a very good job. Like, the images themselves would be about 90% accurate. Like this image right here, for example, the first one that I've chosen. Yes, some of these buildings in here, you do have them in Bangkok, but the actual skyline itself, like this, some buildings here would not actually be in the city of Bangkok. So my point here is that if your images need to be factually accurate, it's best that you get them from far more reliable sources than AI. However, if you're creating regular images like a taxi driver or a man speaking to a woman or something like that, then fine. Elementor's AI will do a very good job of creating such images for you. But again, if your images are meant to be factual, it might be best you get them from a different source. So that's how you can generate the post title, the post content, and even images by making use of Elementor's AI. And of course, you can come down here and then simply hit publish, and well, there you go. Now you will have your post ready to be viewed by your audience. Again, don't worry, later on in the video, or in the course rather, I'm going to show you how you can modify your post content by creating a template for it, and also how you can reduce the font size of your page or post titles. Thank you for watching, and of course I will see you in the next class. I want to spend some time now to show you how containers work in relation to the elements that they hold, as well as how you can apply margins and paddings effectively. And the reason why I am laying special emphasis here is because these things are extremely important whenever you're working with Elementor, and in fact, whenever you're working with any kind of page builder. Because the whole idea behind Elementor is you're adding elements to your page, and then you'll modify how those elements would look like. That's basically what Elementor really is. So it's fundamental that you understand these concepts. And if you're somebody who already has some knowledge of either CSS or maybe even HTML, this will be very, very easy for you to understand. But don't worry if you don't have a background in either of those two. I'm going to start from the very basics. All right. So in here, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and drag the text editor and drop it inside this section right here. Now, it is a text editor, but notice that by default, the text editor has been placed inside of a container. Right here at the top, you can see right here, it says edit container. And if I was to go over here to the navigator and I open the navigator, you will notice that we have the container, and then inside of the container, we now have a text editor. So whenever you add elements to your widget area right here, those elements will be grouped inside of a container. The alternative here would have been for me to drag the container in here first, okay, and now drag the text editor inside of that container, but it's basically the exact same thing, as you can see, right? So let me go ahead and close this. I'm going to add an image again in here. Let me just add, let's go with the Brazilian flag, okay? All right. Now notice we have the first container holding the text editor, and then we have the second container holding the image. This is not to say that you cannot have multiple elements inside of the exact same container. I can go back in here, drag the image element, and then drop it underneath the text editor. So I can choose the position of where I want to place my elements in each container. Notice the pink thick line that appears whenever I either move the image below the text editor or above the text editor. This is to indicate where the image will be placed. So I'm going to drag it just beneath the text editor, release my mouse, and there you go. Let me quickly add the Argentine flag. All right. So now notice over here with the navigator, we have container number 1 holding the text editor and the image, and then we have container number 2 holding a solitary image of the Brazilian flag. Okay, now check this out. Let's say I wanted to add a background color to the text editor area. How would I do this? I can click on the pen here to edit the text editor, go to advanced in here, and then right here, do you see background? I can click in there, and I'll go to background type, click on classic, okay, and then from here I can go to color, and let's just choose the orange color right there, or any other color, it doesn't matter. Okay, notice however that the text, especially the letter L, it's right up there at the edge of the border. There is no spacing at all. What if we wanted to add some spacing between the text itself and its surrounding border? How can we do this? This is where padding is going to come into play. So right up here under advanced on layout, you can see we have margin and then we have padding. The difference between these two is that think of padding as internal spacing. If you're trying to create space between an element and its immediate container or its immediate border, that would be padding, internal spacing. However, margin would be external spacing. This is where you want to create space between one element and another element inside of the same container, or maybe you want to create space between one container and another container. Notice if I hovered on my mouse right here, it says link values together. This means that if I add any value to any one of these four sides, that same value will be reflected across the other three sides. For example, if I went to right and I said 5, notice right now that all the other sides have 5. So in a situation where you wanted to add padding specifically to one side only, you would need to click in here to unlink the values, and now from here bottom, I can increase the bottom spacing specifically. But let's link all the values together at 5. Now notice that as I'm increasing the padding, notice right now there is a lot more space between the text itself and its border. Do you see that? I can keep going, and now we keep having more and more and more space. But now if I unlink the values and I said, okay, let's focus on the bottom only, notice right now that the spacing between the text and the bottom of its container keeps on increasing. Again, padding is for internal spacing. This is where the old concept of padding you can apply. Whenever you're trying to create space between one element and its immediate surroundings, you want to use paddings. Okay, let me link the values back together, and then let's go, let's say 10, something reasonable. Okay, 10 pixels. Okay, what about margins? If I wanted to create space between this first container and this second container right here holding the Brazilian flag, I would use margins. For example, I can go right here to edit container, now go to advanced, and just like with paddings, whatever values you add to one side, it will be reflected across the other sides. So let me unlink the values here together first, and now I will add the margin at the bottom. Now notice that as I'm increasing the margin for the bottom, notice the Brazilian flag, the container holding the Brazilian flag gets pushed further down. That's because I'm creating space at the bottom between the first container and the second container. Do you see that? The reverse of this would be me going to the second container beneath the first container, go to advanced, unlink the values, and then add the margin from the top of the second container. Do you see that? This is the easiest way how you can apply margins and paddings. Again, paddings are great when you want to create space between one element and its immediate border or surrounding. Margins are great when you want to apply spacing between one element and another, or one container and another. This is the best way to use margins and paddings. One more thing I want to show you is that unlike paddings that cannot have a negative value, you can actually add negative values to your margins. The reason why you may want to do this is because you may want to have one element or one container overlap another. So as an example, let me go all the way here to 0, and now if I start decreasing the value, notice right now that the second container is invading the area of the first container. It's now overlapping the first container, and I can stop right here, and there you go. This is how sometimes when you see some very fancy websites with some very fancy design where one element is overlapping the other, it's usually because of negative margins being applied. There are other tricks that you can apply to achieve the same kind of effect, but very often it will be the designer adding a negative value to the margins basically. So there you go. That's how you can also work with negative values for your margins. I'm going to go back in here and say 0, and there it is. So as we progress in the course, you'll learn a lot more about containers and how you can control how the elements inside of them are being displayed. But I really wanted to spend some time just to give you this basic introduction to containers, margins, and patterns, so that as we begin to work with them for the rest of this course, for the remainder of this course, you will not be confused. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Welcome back. So now that I've shown you a brief introduction to the user interface of Elementor, let's take a look at the global variables and how you can set the kinds of font families you want to use, the colors, and so on. Now, on the same UI interface right here, you're going to go to the menu button up here, and then now go over to your site settings. All right. Now, here's the thing. We could set global colors that can be used all across our website. To do that, click on global colors. And now this would be the default colors that you would have: blue, darkish gray, lightish gray, and then lime. So this would be for your primary headers, your secondary headers, your text. This would be your regular body text, and then accent is usually for like links or buttons. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change these to some colors I have over here. So in order to change them, I'm going to click inside, and for primary, I'm going to go with white. Okay, so white is going to be FFF, 6 Fs. Is basically for white. That will be for my primary. And then for secondary, we're actually going to keep this as it is. But then for text, we're going to go with black. Okay, black is going to be 6 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are what we call the hexadecimal values. Okay, so 6 zeros for black, 6 Fs for white. And then lastly, for the accent, which would be for the links, I do have my color in here. Let me just quickly grab the color from my other screen, come right here and paste that. So it's a shade of orange. It's basically a DCA 570. Now, you could decide to add your own custom colors as well. You can come in here, click on add color, and you can name this one like anything. You could give it like, let's say, the special color. Okay, I'll show you how this works a bit later, but let's just call this one special color. And in here, I'm going to click on the box and let's just choose something reddish. Okay, so I have my own custom color called special color. I'm going to go ahead now and simply update. Okay, so we've set our global colors, which we can use throughout the site. But then we also have access to global fonts. Font families are very, very, very important. So check this out. I'm going to click on global fonts. The first one here is going to be primary. This would be for your primary headers. Now let me just take a look at my other screen in here, because I have chosen to go for the font family. I've chosen to go with Oswald. Oswald is a particular Google font that I like. So I'm going to choose Oswald for the font family. The weight here is going to be 700. So it's going to be a little bit heavier. And then I'm going to transform this to uppercase. And then I'll leave the other ones: line height, letter spacing, word spacing, and so on. Let's leave those as they are. Next is going to be the secondary. And then secondary, again, I'm going to go with Oswald. Okay. Oswald for secondary. And then the size here, I'm actually going to go with 20 pixels because it's going to be a little bit smaller. 20 pixels. And then the weight here would be 600. And there you go. That's for the secondary. And then text, this would be our regular text. I'm actually going to switch font families over to Nurito Sans. Okay, so let's search for Nurito. Is it Nurito? Nunito, I'm sorry. Even with my glasses, I still can't see properly. Nunito Sans, that's going to be for text. And then the size here would be 18 pixels, and the weight is going to be 500. And that is that. Last but not least, we do have the accent. So accent is going to be Roboto. Let's stick with Roboto for that one. And then weight here will be 500. So we're not changing anything in here. I'm going to go ahead now and update. The point here is that we can actually use these font families, these font colors anywhere on our site. As an example, let me close this, okay? And let me go ahead now and add a heading. So I'm going to click drag, drop the heading element in here. Now take a look at this. If I was to go to style, all right here you can see we have the typography option to choose what kind of typography we want to work with, or the text color. Now take a look at this. If I click on this icon right here, this global looking icon, I click in there, can you now see we can choose from the 5 options: primary, secondary, text, accent, and even the special color that we added. That's how you can make use of the global colors that we've just set. Same goes with the typography. I click in here again, and now I can choose either to go with the primary text, secondary text, regular text, or the accent. That's how these would work. But let me show you something even more interesting. If I go back to the site settings, just underneath the design system, you have your theme style. And if I click on typography, in here, this is where we can now set specific font families, colors, sizes for our H1, our H2 tag, H3, and so on. But in order for us to be able to make use of this particular system, we're going to need to disable the default colors and fonts from the settings page. Okay, remember, let me just quickly go ahead, update this. I'll show you what I'm talking about. If we go back to the back end, let me come right here, go to exit to dashboard. If you go back to your Elementor settings, right here, we're going to have to disable the default colors and fonts in order to make use of this new theme style editor. So I'm going to check these 2 boxes, save those changes, and now let me close this. Let me refresh this page again. Okay. Now take a look at this. If I go back in here, go to site settings, and I come down here to typography, now I am able to set a specific text color for the body, text size, for the links, H1s, and so on. Also, if I go back to the regular back end, and let me just close this, and I added my heading again in here. If I go to style, right here, if I go to text color, I still have access to the colors I've set earlier. And then also for the typography, I still have access to the secondary text. Basically the same options I said earlier, I still have access to them. So basically, let's just go back to the site settings one more time. I just wanted to show you that I still have access to those options. Let's go back to the theme style typography. Okay, I do have my options in here that I've already set. So what I'm going to do here is this. Okay, let's first of all choose the typography for our body. So right here for body, I'm going to go over here to text color. We're going to choose black. That'll be for the text. For the typography, I'm simply going to go with text. Okay, remember we set text to be null into sans, size of 18 pixels, and then the weight of 500. Okay, so that's going to be for the body. Good. Now for the link, let me just check what I have in here. For the link, I'm going to go with color, the accent color, and then typography, I'm going to go with accent as well. And now for the H1s. Okay, this is going to be a little bit different. So for the H1s, what I've done right here is for the family, I've set that one to default, but the size here is going to be 100 pixels. Okay, very massive. And then the weight here is going to be 600. We're hardly going to use H1s on our site, so don't worry about the huge size. So I'm going to keep that one at 100. Now let's go over to the H2. And for H2, I do have the size here. So I'm going to click on typography. The size here, I've set it up to 32 pixels. So 32 pixels. And then I do have the weight here to be 700. Basically, this is the main header we're going to be working with. Actually, my apologies. I set it to 36. Sorry, 36 pixels for H2. Okay. And then for the H3, check this out. For the H3, the color here is going to be the accent color, the orange color. And then the size here is going to be 22 pixels. Okay. And then the family here is going to be primary. Okay, so which would be Oswald. Let me also set the primary font family here to be Oswald. That will be for the H2. So basically H2s would be 36 size and pixel. The family of Oswald, they'll be uppercase, and then 700 in weight. And then finally, I've also set for the H4, same color would be the accent color. And then the size here is going to be 18 pixels. Okay, so let's choose Oswald again. And then the size here would be 18 pixels, the same size as our body text. And then one more, the very last one will be the H5, which I don't really think we're going to work with that much, but let's just set it up H5, and then typography would be the same secondary or primary if you want. And then the size here would be 16 pixels. Okay. And there you go. So I'm going to go ahead now and simply update this. And that's it. Now, I know this was a very long video with me just, talking about, colors and stuff. But the point here is that on our site, if we ever add an H2, automatically it's going to inherit the values from here. So our H2s right now would have the font family of Oswald, size of 36 pixels, and then a weight of 700. And then the same goes with the H3s, H4s, and so on. We've basically set up the global values for our headers as well as our body text. But also, we've set our global colors, which we can use over and over again. We've set 5 of them: primary, secondary, text, accent, special color. We're not going to use special color. I just, wanted to show you how you can add your own additional custom colors if you wanted to. But that's basically us setting up our global font families, colors, and sizes. Jump in the very next video where we'll now begin to build out the header for our website. All right, so we're ready to begin to build out our website. And the first part we're going to build will be the header. We're going to have a header with the logo on the left and then the main menu on the right. Now, before we do any of that, let me just go ahead now to exit this page and let's go to the actual WordPress backend. Now we're going to create our main menu first of all. Okay, so right here I have my menu name called main menu, and I am going to add articles, about, and contact to the main menu. All right, and then we're going to set the display location here to header. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now, save the menu. And let's actually add also a custom link. Let me just add the hashtag here and add a link text here of destinations. Okay, this is just to add a bit more content to our main menu. So let's add destinations, and then all right, so we have articles, about, destinations, and then contact. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead now, save. Now, in order for us to create the global header with Elementor, we need to install an additional plugin. Now, with the paid version of Elementor, you can actually create your global headers and footers and so on. But with the free version, we cannot. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to add plugins, and I'm going to type in Elementor. All right. Now, the plugin we're looking for is the Elementor Header and Footer Builder. It's the third one right here. So I'm going to go ahead to install the plugin. And we're going to go ahead now to activate the plugin. And then let's also add another plugin, which will be the essential add-ons for Elementor. It's the second one right here. The reason why we want to add this plugin is because this plugin will provide us with additional functionality and more elements to work with. Again, if you are working with the paid version of Elementor, you would not need any of these two plugins. But again, since we're using the free version, we need all the help that we can get. So I'm going to go ahead now to install the essential add-ons for Elementor. Let's activate. All right. Now, when you activate the plugin, let me just go ahead now and refresh our WordPress backend. You will now see essential add-ons right here, just underneath templates. So let's go ahead in there and let's see what we have. So under general, this is of course all the general information about the plugin. Elements, these are the elements that will be active. You can enable any one of these that you want to work with. For now, I'm not going to change or toggle anything. I'll just keep the defaults as they are. And then under extensions, you'll have things like the table of contents, duplicator. We're going to make use of the duplicator extension very soon. and then you'll have your tools, integrations, and so on. Okay, we also installed the Elementor header and footer builder. Now, because that plugin is active, if you were to go to appearance, you will now see underneath your menus, you will see Elementor header and footer builder. Let's click in there. And now we're going to go ahead now and add new up here. All right. And then, okay, you can just skip this. All right. I don't need to fill out that information. All right. I'm going to type in here. The name here is going to be global header. Okay. Now, type of template here would be header. Now, display on, where do we want to display this particular header? I'm going to say the entire website. However, we want the header on our home page to be different. The header on our home page is going to be transparent because we're going to have a banner image, all right? And just to kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about real quick, let me grab the demo site. Let me just show you real quick. So we're aiming for something like this, where on the home page, the main header, you can see that the logo, the main menu, it's transparent to this huge background image. However, if we went to any other page, like the contact page, for example, you will see that the header is different. We now have a thick black background and the header is no more transparent. So basically, we have two different types of headers, one for the entire website and then one specifically for the home page. So the one we're building right now is going to be for the entire website, not the home page. So in order to do this right now, we're going to say, okay, we've added the display, will display on the entire website. However, we can add the exclusion rule, which I'm going to click on. So we're going to say, okay, display on the entire website, but exclude the home page. So I'm going to come in right now and say, do not display on the front page. So you'll find that under for our special pages. We'll say front page, and then we can add another exclusion rule and then say a specific page as well, just to be on the safe side. So specific pages. And now we're going to type in home. Okay, that's the page. So front page and then home, and that is it. Now, right here where you have the template, we're going to switch this on over here to the Elementor full width because we want our header to go full width. We don't want it to be in a boxed container, and that is it. I'm going to go ahead now and hit publish. Okay, now we can edit the header. So I'm going to click on edit with Elementor. Okay. It's opening up the back end and there you go. Okay, I'm going to close the navigator right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the plus button in here and I'm going to choose this particular structure right here. This two column structure here where the first column is about 25% width while the second column is much wider at about 75% width. So I'm going to choose this one. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is, since we're editing the main container, right here where you have the layout, where you have content width, let's make this one go full width first of all, okay? And then I'm going to go over here to style, and we're going to add a background type, which will of course be the black background color. So I'm going to go with classic, and then when you have color, you can click on the global colors and then choose the text color, which is black, and there it is. Cool. Now, I'm going to go back to our elements. Inside the first column, we're going to add our logo. So I'm going to scroll all the way down here. Okay. And now you'll have the section specifically for the Elementor header and footer builder. These are the elements provided by the plugin. So I'm going to choose, where is it? Site logo. Okay. Click and drag, drop it inside, and automatically it's pulled in this logo. However, we're going to use the actual logo now. So I'm going to go with custom image. All right, let's click inside. And the image we want is this one right here. It's the one with the white background. So I'm going to click on select. And there you go. Now for the image size, always display full. Okay, this will prevent the image from getting blurred out. So we've got full. All right, but it's a little bit wide. It's a little bit large. For the alignment, let's switch this one over to the left, push it to the left a little bit. And now we're going to go right where it says link. All right. We can link this one to maybe like a media file or a custom URL. But for now, we'll just keep it on default, which will of course be the home page. Now we're going to go over here to style. And now in here, this is where we're going to make some changes to how wide we want this particular logo to be. So where you have max width, we're going to take this down to 60%. Okay, let's go with 60%. So it's not too big, but it's not too small either. All right, awesome. That's the logo taken care of. Now we're going to go back to our elements. Now we're going to go with the main menu. So I'm going to scroll all the way down here one more time. Now we're going to go with the navigation menu element. Click drag, drop it inside. And now automatically, because it's the only menu that we have, it's already set the menu to main menu. You do have this very fancy option of like customizing the last menu item. So you could go with like a button. So now you can see that the contact menu item is in the shape of a button. It's all relative, it's entirely up to you, but I'll just keep everything on default. And then when you have your layout, you can change the alignment, which we will of course do. So I'm going to push this one all the way to the right. Every other thing in here, we'll keep it as it is. However, I'm going to go over here to style. Okay. And we're going to make some changes to the typography. First of all, where you have the color, I'm going to click on the thing right here, the pen right here. All right. And then right here where you have family, we're going to keep it on default. However, where you have the transform, we're going to switch this one over here to uppercase. Okay. And then let's click outside. Now for the text color, we are going to go simply with the primary color, which is white. Now, one more thing we need to do is that we need to bring down or align our menu items in the middle of our container. Right now, it's right there at the very top. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the edit container button right here. Click in there. Then if we were to go to layout, and then here where you have align items, we're going to go with center right there, and there it is. That is our main menu. And of course, we've got a logo. Now I'm going to go ahead now and simply update. All right. And now let's come over here. Let's just simply exit. And now let's go over to our home page. And of course, you can see right now that nothing has changed on the home page because the global header right there was meant specifically just for the other pages. So let's click on articles, for example, and there you go. Now we have the header that we just built coming up. We go to about, and there it is. We have the header right there again. Destinations, let's see, it's the exact same thing as well. And then contact, you can see, is the exact same background as well. But if we go back to the home page, it's completely different. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go back to the back end. All right. And we're going to go over to appearance, come back down here to Elementor header and footer builder. Now, remember we installed the essential add-ons for Elementor, which has an extension called duplicator. So that duplicator would allow us to simply duplicate the header we've just built. So right here, you will see EA duplicate. I'm going to click on it. And just like that, we now have the header duplicated. And this is the best way to do this because all we need to change is just the black background color. We're going to remove the black background color. But before that, we also need to ensure that we're going to display it specifically on the home page. So I'm going to go over here to edit. Let's change the name here, first of all, to home. Where is it now? Home page header. Okay. And then down here, we're going to say display on, and then we'll say display on the front page. Let's also display it on a specific page called home. So specific pages, and then we're going to type in home. And there it is. And then for the do not display on, we'll simply exclude all of that. So there it is. I'm going to go ahead now and hit publish. All right. And then we can now go ahead to now edit with Elementor. And like I said, all we're going to do is just to simply remove the black background. So right here, let's edit the container, go to style, And then right here where it says classic on the background type, simply click on that button just to deactivate the black background color. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead now and update. And let's go ahead now to view the page. Let's go to the home page now. And there it is. We no longer can see the header. Well, it's there. I mean, if you click and drag your mouse around here, you will see the menu items. So if we go to any other page, you will see the black background color. But then we go to the home page and we're not going to see that anymore. And there it is. One last thing. It's good practice. Even though we can simply display our logo as a custom image, it's still good practice to go to customize and set your logo to be the actual logo from the theme settings. So right here where it says site identity, go in there and let's remove this logo and then select the actual main logo now. Select, crop everything, make sure everything is selected, crop the image and hit publish. And there it is. Let me just make sure nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And that's it. Thank you much. It is. Thanks so much for watching the video. I will see you in the next class. So now that we've gotten the header as well as the homepage banner built out, it is now time for us to build out the footer for our website. And to give you an example, this is something that I am aiming for. We're going to have like a 2-column structure. And then we're going to have this very wide image right here. And then we'll have the contact information on the right with some social media icons. And then at the bottom, we'll have the copyright text, 2023, passport travel, that good stuff. So let me go ahead and show you how we can build that. We're going to go to the back end, obviously. And since we're building a global footer, we're going to go to Appearance, come down here to Elementor Header and Footer Builder, go to Add New. And we'll just call this one the global footer. All right, and then option here will be footer. Don't forget the default template here would be set to Elementor full width. And display on, well, we're going to go with the entire website. Thankfully, we don't have to create 2 different types of footers. The footer is going to be consistent throughout the entire website. So let's go ahead now and hit publish. And now we can go ahead and edit with Elementor. Okay, so it's going to be a 2-column structure. So I'm going to come in here right now, click on plus. Now, by default, we don't have the structure where the first column is about 75% and then the second column is about 25%. What we have here is the opposite. The first column is the much narrower of the two, but don't worry, we're going to select that particular structure. I'll show you how you can make the changes later. So let's go ahead now and handle the second column right here, because this is the one that will hold the image. So let's come over here to image, add the image right there. Let's go with full, and then the image we're going to select will be this one right here. Select. If you're wondering, this image was taken in Huacaquina in Peru. It's actually a very, very cool place where you can do things like sandboarding and so on. Okay, next we're going to now add some text over here on the left. That will be our contact information. But before we do that, let's make some changes to the actual container itself, the primary container. So I'm going to click on edit container right here. And of course, we're going to go with full width. And then we're going to come over here to style, background type. We're going to go with the color. And we're going to go with the secondary color. Okay. And there it is. Now let's go ahead and add the text. The first one here would be a header. And this one here would be contact. I'm typing it straight in capital letters. And contact, we're actually going to change the color right here. And we're going to go with the white color. And then next will be another header, which will drop just below the contact header. And this one will be a telephone. Give us a call. And we're going to make this one H4, so much smaller. And then again, we're going to add another header, again, just beneath telephone. This one will be an H5, so even smaller text. And the number I have in here is 090 645 3417. Please do not call that number. It is a fake number. I'm going to go over here to style. The text color here would be white. Okay. And all right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate the remaining text for the email as well as the address. However, you may notice that the H5 here seems to be a little bit bigger than the H4 that we have. So what I'm actually going to do is this. We're going to make a very, very quick change. I'm going to go ahead now and update real quick. All right. And we're going to go over to the site settings. Let's go to our typography. And now where we have the H4, let's go to typography. We set it to 18 pixels. I see. Okay, let's make this one slightly bigger to 20 pixels. Okay. And then we're going to go to H5. And for H5, let's make H5 16 pixels. And I think this is all right. Okay, let's go ahead now and update. Obviously, you want your H5 to be just a little bit smaller than your H4s. Okay, we are good. Now I'm going to close this. Okay, now we're going to simply duplicate the telephone as well as the telephone number itself. So check this out. I'm going to right click on the telephone and then you will see duplicate. So let's duplicate and then I'll drag this down just below the phone number. So now telephone here will become our email. Okay, and then again, I'm going to now duplicate the phone number. So we have another H5 just below email. And the email I have in here is alex@passporttravel.com. Do not send me an email. That is also fake. And then one last time, let's duplicate again the email. Come down here. The final H4 here would be address. And we're now going to add a text editor element because it's going to be three different lines. It's not just one line like the header. So text editor, drop it below address. And the address I have in here, I have number 13, Rue Emile Zola. Honestly, I don't know how I came across this fake address. Now, a new line. Now, don't just press enter. If you press enter, it's going to have like a double line spacing. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to hold the shift key and then press enter. This way you have a single line spacing. So 69002 Lyon, which is in France. Shout out to France. And there it is. Okay, we're going to go over here to style. And then text color, we're going to make that white. And there it is. Last thing we're going to do is to add the social media icons. And thankfully, under general, for Elementor, you will see social icons right here. So let's click drag, drop that just below the address. And we're going to align to the left. The shape, I'm going to go with circle. And then on the style, we're going to go with the custom color. The primary color here would be white, and then the secondary color here would be black. All right. Feel free to add more social media icons if you're interested. And the last content we're going to add would be the actual copyright text. And we're going to find that down here under the Elementor header and footer builder section. So it's right here, copyright text. We're going to drag and put that one under the image. And we're going to align it to the center. Let's change the text color here to white. And I think the default text is actually quite good. I don't think we need to change anything in here at all. And that is it. One last thing we need to do is this particular image in here is very, very, very tall, as you can see. So one thing we can do is we can reduce the height of our image. So check this out. Okay, I'm going to go to edit the image. Go to style, and then when you have height, we can set an actual height here of, I have 450 pixels, so it's not too tall. And there it is. All right, let's go ahead now and update, and let's see what we have. Let's come right here. I'm going to right click, view page in a new tab, and there it is. So it's almost there. We just need to make a few changes. we'll have to change the direction. So we have the image on the left and then the text on the right. So let's do that. And to do that, I'm going to go over here to edit container. Now, if you go over here to layout, where you have the direction, you'll have row horizontal, but then the third choice here is row reversed. So when you choose that, now the columns have been switched, and there it is. So let me close the navigator. And one last thing I want us to do here is, you will notice that there is some spacing between the borders of the image and the borders of the actual container, but we don't want any borders at all. We want the image to be right up there at the edge of the border of the container. So to do this, we will have to remove the paddings from both the container and then the image. And to do this, I'm going to go first of all to edit the container, go to advanced, and then here where you have padding, just simply go with 0. Okay. And then actually, we don't want to do 0 for all the 4 sides because we want to have some padding at the bottom. Okay, so my apologies. Let's unlink the values in here first of all. So top will be 0, right, left 0 is fine, but then bottom, we want to have some space at the bottom. So let's go with 20 pixels for the bottom. And then also for the container holding the actual image itself, I'm going to go right here. You see that? I'm going to go here over here to edit the container, go to advanced as well. For the padding, I'm going to first of all unlink the values, and there it is. So now we have 0 on all 4 sides, and there it is. I'm going to go ahead now and update. And now let's take a look at the new footer, refresh the page, and there it is. So now you can see that the image is right up there at the border of the container, so there is no spacing. However, last thing we need to do here is you can see that the text is almost at the border with the image, so we do want some spacing actually. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to the container itself and then go to layout, and then here where you have gap between elements, let's go with about 20 pixels, something not too big. I think 20 should be just fine. Let's update. And now if we go back in here and refresh, there you go. So now we have some breathing space between the image and the text, and there it is. So let's go ahead now, visit the actual website, and there it is. That is our global footer. Let's make sure it's on other pages as well. Let's go to contact. Yep, it's right there. Go to the about page. Yes, it's right there. And go back to the home page. It is right there. So that's how to create a global footer for the website. Thanks so much for watching, and of course I will see you in the next class. Alrighty, so now that we've built out the header, ideally we should be building out the footer next, but because we can't see anything in the header right now, I think it's best that we add the banner for the home page so that we can at least see the header before we begin to build out the footer. Now this is the banner we're going to add. You can see the big background image right there. It blends in well with the header, so you can see the logo, the main menu, and then we'll have the main title, where Travel Misadventure, and then we'll also have the text that says book your trip now. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to click on edit with Elementor, and the very first thing we'll do is to simply add the container element. Let me close the navigator. We can add the container element in there, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come down here to style, go to background type, click on classic, and then go to image, and then we're going to choose this image right here and click on select. Now you can see that we can't even really see anything because the container is still empty. It doesn't have any content at all. The image that we just added is simply the background for the container. So to make the container taller, we're going to go back to layout. Let's change the content width from box to full width first of all, and then minimum height here we're going to go all the way to 1000 pixels. Okay, 1000 pixels, and then we'll make some changes in here. Justify content, we're going to justify it so we have space between, and then align items, we're going to go with center. That will align everything in the center of the container. Now going back to style, where you have the repeat. We can keep that one on default. However, the display size, we're going to go with cover. And then we can actually also change what parts of the image we want to focus on through the position element. So right here, position, I'm going to go with bottom center. So that way we see more of this Kano, okay? And there it is. Now, the image is there, the background image is there, quite all right, but we still cannot see the header. So in order for us to basically have the header blend in with this background image, we need to push up this image so that it collides with the header. So basically, we want to invade the territory of our main header, if that makes sense. So to do this, we're going to go over here to the advanced part for the container. And then when you have margin, by default, when you add any sort of value to your margins, it will be applied. The exact same value will be applied to all four sides by default. So we don't want this. We want to apply margins only to the top. So let me go back to 0, and then I'm going to unlink the values here by clicking on the button right here. And now top, we're going to go with the negative value. And in fact, we're going to go all the way to negative 260. Now, you can see that we've pushed up the container so high up that it's now invaded the container holding our main header. As you can see, this is how you can get your image to blend in with the header. Now, on my screen right here, 260 seems to be just a little bit off. I think if we go all the way to negative 270, that should do the trick. So do yours at negative 270, and that should be fine. One more thing we need to do is we need to add a bit of a background overlay. Right now, the text, even though people can see the text for our main menu and also for the logo, let's add a little bit of a background overlay to make the background just a little bit darker. So where you have your container, we're going to go back here to style, and then background overlay down here, we're going to go to background type classic, color will be black, and then the opacity here will be 0.2 because we don't want to make it too dark. So 0.2 is perfect, and there it is. Now we're going to add the text. We are travel meets adventure. So elements, we're going to drag the header element in here and simply drop it right in there. We're going to make it an H1 first of all, and then the text says where travel meets adventure. Okay, let's align it to the center. And then, oh, the text is still way at the very top. We want to align it down to the center. So here's what we're going to do, okay? Let's try to edit the container. And even though we cannot see the button to edit the container, we can come down here, click on navigator. So now we can easily access the container holding our header. And of course, we can't see the main button because we use the negative margins. The button is way off screen. It's up there, but it's beyond what our screen can see. So I'm going to click on container. Let's go back to layout and let's see. Oh, okay. My mistake. Where you have justify content, you want to go with center here. Okay, my apologies. It should be the second option, not the fourth one. My apologies. So go to justify and then center. That will push the text right down there in the middle of the image. Okay, so going back to our header right now, we're going to make some changes. Let's go over here to style. Text color, we're going to go with white. Okay, and now for the typography, major changes. We're going to go with the Oswald. Okay, Oswald text. This is going to be special text Oswald. 900 black to make it really thick, and then style, make it italic, and then the transform is going to be uppercase. And now the size, we're going to go really large. We're going to go to about 160 pixels. So make it really big. And there it is. Let's go ahead now and update, and let's see what it actually looks like. So let's go ahead right now and view the page, and voila, there you go. Almost there. One more thing we need to add right now will be this button that says book your trip now. So how do we do this? Go back to edit with Elementor. And now we are going to add our button, and button is going to be right here. Just drop that right there. So the text in here, we can just type in capital letters immediately, okay? We can just type in straight up capital letters. So book your trip now. Okay. And then the link for now, we're going to keep it on asterisk just for now, the hashtag for now. We can align it to the center. And then size, we can go with medium size. And then icon, we want to use the icon for the plane. So we're going to go with the icon library right here. And let's just type in name. I'm sorry, plane rather. So let's go with this one. I like this one. Insert. And there it is. So we want the icon position to be before the text, or you can go with after if you want to. Okay, we're going to go over here now to style. And we're going to make a few changes in here. First things first here is going to be the typography. So we're going to click inside. And what I have here is the weight. We're going to go with 600 semi-bold. And then for the text color, we're going to go with white. And then the background type, we're going to go with classic. And then color, we're going to go with the orange color. And then for the border type, we're going to go with solid. We want the borders to be solid. And then the color as well, we're going to go with the orange color. And last thing to change will just be the actual decoration for the text. By default, you do have the underline because it's a link. But if we go back to typography, right here where it says decoration, let's just go with none. And there it is. We are done. I'm going to go ahead now and update. And let's now take a look. And there it is. Where travel meets adventure. Book your trip now. And there it is. That's exactly how to add the banner for your home page. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching the video. Join me in the very next video where I will now show you how to create the global footer. I will see you then. Before we proceed to building other parts of the home page, I just want to show you how you can have an alternative banner. So instead of having like a background image, a static background image, you can actually have a video playing in the background. And of course, videos are a lot more entertaining than just static images. There are some drawbacks with using videos though, because videos take longer to load and they could slightly slow down your website. So if you're going to use a video as your background, make sure it is very, very, very light and not more than, let's say, 5 or 6 seconds. Okay, you don't want like a very, very heavy video playing in the background. So to do this, we're going to go back to edit with Elementor. Okay, and we're going to switch the static background image for a video. We cannot edit the container directly in here because, again, remember, we used plenty of negative margin. So we're just going to use the navigator down here. Let's select the container. And now from here, we're going to go over here to style. And now here where you have background type, I'm going to go with video. And now here we can simply paste the link to the video. Now, the actual link, I'm going to provide you with this video. Let me just open this in a new tab. If you go to your media library, you should see a file called highlight reel. It's this one right here. It's an MP4. So I'm going to check out the link. And this is the link right here, the file URL. You don't need to copy everything. Just copy from the / and then WP content section. Okay, this is all you need to copy. So I'm going to copy that link right there. Go back in here. Go back to the container, and then where you have the video link, I'm going to go ahead now and paste that link right there. And of course, we now have the video playing. You do have additional options in here, like choose the particular start time and the end time. You can say, okay, play only once, play on mobile, things like that. One thing I would strongly recommend that you do is that you provide a background fallback, just in case the video doesn't load. For example, you may have the video hosted on YouTube or Vimeo, and maybe at that particular time, YouTube and Vimeo are having issues when somebody wants to visit your site. They're not going to see anything loading, and that could turn them off. So should in case the video doesn't load, you want to have an image as a fallback option. So background fallback obviously will be this image right here. So you can just simply select that one. So in case the video doesn't load, the image would load. I'm sorry, in case the video doesn't load, the image would load. Let's update. And let's take a look at our newly improved homepage. And there it is. Where Travel Meets Adventure. I've got the video playing right there. And yeah, it looks pretty awesome and cool, right? It's very entertaining. And it draws in people immediately. So it's really entirely up to you. You can choose to use a video, or you can simply choose to use a background image. Like I said, there are drawbacks. Videos are more entertaining, obviously. They add a lot more excitement to your site than a static background image. However, background images load a lot faster than videos. So take that into consideration when you're trying to decide whether or not you want to use a background image or a video. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Let's now continue to build out the home page, and we're going to add the second section just beneath the main banner. And just to give you an idea of what we're aiming to build here, it's something like this. So we're going to have basically 2 columns and 2 rows. So we'll have some text and then a button, and then on the right we'll have an image, and then the reverse will be on the second row here, as you can see. So let's go ahead and build this. I'm going to go ahead right now and click on plus, and we're going to go with this structure right here. That's perfect for what we're looking for. So I'm going to choose that, and let's make a few changes here first. Content width here will be full width first of all. And let's do this. So the first section, or the first container here, will have the header. And let me just also mention one thing real quick. I've actually gone ahead to change the color for our H2s. So please go to your site settings, go to typography, and then here where you have your H2, I've actually changed it from orange to black because I just realized that most of the H2s we're going to be dealing with will be black. So please go ahead and make that change. Okay, so going back here, we have our H2, and let me modify the text. It says we love to travel. All right, and we'll align that at the center, and then we're going to add a text editor just beneath the header. And let me grab the dummy text I have in here real quick. I'm going to go ahead and paste that. So we do have our dummy text, and then I'll go ahead now and add the button beneath the text, and then we're going to align it to the center. Make the button medium size. Let's go over here to style. And what we're going to change here would be the text color. First of all, will be black. And then the background type, we're going to go with the classic, and then the color here will actually be white. And then we're going to go with the border type here would be solid, and then the border color would be black. Okay, and then for the actual text, sorry, the text I have in here is learn more. So let's make that capital letters, learn more. And last thing is we'll just remove the line. So we'll come down here to typography, go to decoration, and then choose none. And there it is. Okay, so for the second container right here, we're going to go with the image, and I'm going to upload this image I took in Istanbul with some very young friendly people right here. And of course the image size here will be full, and there it is. Okay, so to push the text down to the center, of course we're going to go to edit container. Okay, and then here where you have the align items, we'll push this down to the center, and there it is. So what we're going to need to do right now will be to simply reverse the contents for the second row. So here we're just going to click plus, add image, make this one full first of all, and then the image here is going to be the image of the almighty Mount Fitzroy in Argentina. And of course for the second container, we'll have the header. Let me just go ahead, right click, copy the header, right click, paste the header, change the text here. This will be travel to the best places, and then the exact same thing. I'm going to right click on the text editor in here, copy, and then simply right click here again, and then simply click on paste. And there it is. And then again, do the exact same thing for the button, right click, copy, right click down here, and then paste. And there it is. So we have achieved. All right, I'm going to go ahead now and update it real quick, and let's see what we have accomplished. Let's view the page, and there it is. So it's not quite there yet. We want to make sure that the images are right up at the border of the banner, and there is also this space between the image here below and the image here above. Let me show you what we're actually trying to accomplish. You can see right here, there is no space at all. The images are right against each other, and then the text, there is also quite some level of padding, some spacing between the text and its borders. And then up here as well, you can see this image of the young people in Turkey is right up there at the edge with the banner. So we need to make some spacing changes. Okay, what we're going to do first of all is to go back, edit with Elementor. And of course, I'm going to go to the container first of all, the main container in here, go to advanced, and then padding. We're going to set that one to 0, as you can see. And then go to this container holding the actual image, go to advanced, and then padding, do the exact same thing, set that one to 0. Now for this text, the container holding our text, I'm going to click in there, go to advanced, go to padding, click link values together, and then right, I'm going to set that one to 50 pixels, and then left, make it 50 pixels as well. And then the exact same thing in here as well. Again, I'm going to move to the container holding the text in here, go to advanced, and then 50 pixels on the right, 50 pixels on the left, and then the container holding the image right here, edit container, go to advanced, and then pad in here, we're going to set that one to 0. And that is it. I'm going to go ahead now, click on update. And now let's view the page one more time. And there it is. It's really amazing what you can accomplish just by editing and cleaning up the space in between elements on your website. But that's it. We are building the home page gradually. Now we have the banner. Now we have this second section, and it's beginning to look pretty cool. So join me in the very next video where we'll now go on to add the third part of the home page, which will be this very interesting section in here. So I will see you then. Let's continue to build out the home page, and the next section here is going to be a little bit tricky. I mean, we do have like a main container right here. However, you would notice that we do have the first row here with the header, unique travel design, and then we're going to have a divider, and then we're going to have a piece of text, and then we're going to have what looks like to be an inner container with 3 columns in the horizontal style. So how can we create this kind of structure? It's a little bit tricky, but I'm going to show you how to do so. All right, let's go back in here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're simply going to add the container directly in here. Okay. And now we're going to add the header, which says our unique travel design. Okay, let's align that to the center. Now you will notice that we do have this line, this dark line. It's not the underline style for the text, rather it's another element which is called the divider element. So I'm going to grab the divider element right here and then paste that. And then the width, we're going to bring this down to 40%, aligned to the center. So it's just barely underlining the entire text. And then on the style, we're going to bring the gap all the way down to 2. Okay. Next now will be to add the text in here. Let me just quickly grab this text and go back in here. Drag the text editor underneath the divider. And then let's simply paste that text in there as well. And then we will also align this to the center. Okay, so far so good. Let me make a few changes to the main container. I'm going to go over here, and where we have style, we're actually going to add a background color. All right, and the background color we're going to go with is a new one. It is F8, F8, F8. That is the style. And we're also going to add some padding as well. So I'm going to go over here. Oops, sorry about that. I'm going to go over here to advanced. And then for the padding, at the top, we're going to go with 40 pixels. And then bottom will also be 40 pixels as well. Okay. Now next is going to be this one here, where we have these three different boxes. To achieve this, we're going to grab the container element yet again and then put it underneath the text editor. Now, the element we're going to use to display this image and then the title and then some text, it's called the text box. So let me show you. You're going to find it under general, okay? It's right here, image box, sorry, not text box, image box. So it's the first element under general. I'm going to grab that, drop it in there. And now let's make the quick changes in here. I'm going to choose the image in here. The first one here will be this one right here. Let us select that. And then the header here in capital letters is going to be, featured destinations. Actually, my apologies. It's not in capital letters. It's actually in small letters. So let me try that again. My apologies. So featured destinations. Okay. And then no link, no additional text. We're going to keep the default text in here as it is. Now, what we'll simply do is, since it's basically the same kind of design with the second and third checkboxes, all we'll simply do in here is to right click where we have the pen and then duplicate. And then one more time, we'll simply duplicate. And now let's edit the individual boxes. The second one in here, I'm going to go over there to edit. And now this image, the one we're going to use in here is going to be the one for the itinerary, the map. Okay, let's change the title in here. This will be called travel guides. And then for the last one, let's edit, change this image to the one with the plane ticket. And then the title in here would be affordable tickets. Okay, now how do we get these columns to be in the horizontal style like we have in here? It's very simple. I'm going to go over here to the main container right now, holding these three image boxes, click in there, and now right here where you have direction, we're simply going to go with row horizontal. And that is it. It's actually very simple, very straightforward. Nothing complicated there at all. So I'm going to go ahead now and update, and let us view the page. And voila, that is it. Let's make one more slight change. I actually want to increase the spacing to 50 pixels just to add a bit more space. So let's go back to editing the main container right here. Edit container. So top here would be 50 pixels, and then bottom will be 50 pixels just to add just a little bit more space. Update one more time. And there it is. Let's refresh, and there you go. So that's it. Jump in the very next video where we'll now go on to create our image gallery. I'll see you then. Alright, in the next section we're going to build out is going to be our image carousel, our image gallery, where we're going to display a whole bunch of images from all over the world. So to do this is actually very easy. Thankfully, there is an element that we can use. You will find that element under general. It's called the image carousel. So I'm going to grab it, drop it in there. And let me first of all edit the container holding the gallery or the carousel. We're just going to make this one go full width. That's the only change we're going to make here. Now for the gallery itself, or the carousel, right here we're going to add our images. And the images I have in here are Rainbow Mountain in Peru, Rapa Nui, Ephesus, Glacia Moreno. What else do I have here? I have the St. Petersburg as well. And I also have Bariloche in Argentina. Okay, there's 6 images. So I'm going to create a new gallery. I'm going to insert the gallery. And there it is. Now for the image size, we're going to go with full. All right, because we want them to be really big. And then here where it says slides to show, we're going to go with 2 at a time. And then slides to scroll past, we're going to go with 2 as well. Image stretch, we don't need to do that. The navigation, arrows and dots, I'm just going to go with dots, okay? Although you can go with arrows as well. It's entirely up to you. Caption, yes. We want to display the caption of the images. So here we'll have things like, Rainbow Mountain and Rapa Nui, things like that. And that's pretty much it. You can also lazy load, which I would recommend as well. And then the autoplay, the pause on hover, pause on interaction, the autoplay speed, all of these, I pretty much like the default settings. So I'm going to stick with that. And on the style, in case you're interested, you can do things like change the pagination from outside to inside, increase the size, and then for your images, you can also like vertically align them, add borders, and so on. But not interested in any of that. I'm going to go ahead now and simply update. And there it is. Let's just go ahead now and view the page. And voila, there you go. Now you would notice again that we do seem to have like some padding, some spacing, around the images, and we don't want that at all. Also, okay, I was just about to comment that the images were not scrolling by. The images are scrolling by, so that's good. So the only thing we need to fix right now will be just the spacing. Okay, you can see that we do have some white space in there, so let's quickly fix that. So to do that, very simply, we're going to go to the main container. All right, and then you may have guessed, we're going to go to advanced, and then padding, make sure everything is set to 0. And there it is. Let's go ahead now, update. Check it out one more time, and hopefully no more spacing. And there it is. No more spacing between the images and the container. And that's it for adding our image carousel or the image gallery. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next class. The next section we're going to add will be the blog section, and this is what we're trying to accomplish. So we're going to have the headline, visit our blog, and then we'll have 2 featured posts from the blog, and then we'll also have this link right here that will take us to the actual blog page. So let me just drag this away and let's build out the section. So I'm going to add the header first of all in here. All right, and the header here is simply visit our blog. All right, let's align that to the center, and then we're going to have the divider. Let's put that underneath the header, and let's align it to the center. And this particular divider is going to be, let me drag this back. Let's go with something a little bit wider. Okay, 28. I think 28 should be just fine. And then the gap, let's bring it all the way down to 2. Okay. Now for the posts, this is where the essential add-ons plugin is going to come into play, because there is an element that we can use, and it's the element right down here, which is the post grid. This is an element you will not find with the free version of Elementor. With the paid version, yes, you do have it, but with the free version, you don't. So I'm going to grab the post grid, and we're going to drop it just beneath the divider, and there it is. Okay. We're going to make a whole bunch of changes in here. First things first, here is under the query, posts per page is going to be 2. Okay. And then where you have your layout settings, number of columns here is going to be 2. And then the layout itself, we're going to go with the grid style. All right. And now we do have this situation where, because some of the images are of different sizes, it may look misaligned. So to fix this, you can simply enable the image ratio make that one yes, and now all the images will be of the same height and width. And then of course image size, we're going to go with full for now. Okay, so let's scroll down. Show avatar, no. Show author name, no. Show date, no. Now for the excerpt, we want to have a lot more text. So right here where it says excerpt words, we're going to go all the way to 50. So we have a bunch of reasonable text showing up in there. And there it is. Now for the typography, we're going to go over here to style. Okay, and let's come down here to color, typography, and spacing. Now for the title, we want to remove the line, the underline, and then we're also going to make the title actually capital letters. So let's do this. We're going to go over here to typography on the title. Okay, so we're going to go transform to uppercase, and then decoration would be none. Okay, but then we're going to make the size of the titles just a little bit smaller. Let me go back to the content, to layout settings. All right, so the title tag in here, rather than it being an H2, we can make it an H3. So it's a little bit smaller, and I think this is much better. The last thing I would want us to change would be the color of the read more text. So let's go back to style. Let's go to color, typography, and spacing. And then right down here, actually it should be all the way down here. Sorry, not color, typography, and spacing, but right down here, read more button style. My apologies. So text color in here, we're going to go with orange. And there it is. We can also remove the underline as well. So we can go to typography. Decoration here would be none. And there it is. Okay. One more thing we're going to do is to add the button for the read more posts. So let's go back to elements, and we're going to drag button, drop it right there, align to the center, make it medium size. And then I'm going to say read more in capital letters, read more posts. Okay, now for the actual link itself, let me open this in a new tab. We do want to link to the real blog page that we have. So just as a reminder, the articles is going to be the page. So if I view this page, articles, so I'm just going to grab articles, /articles, that will be the link. So let's go back here to our button. So the link here, simply /articles, and there it is. And then we're going to make some changes to the style. We're going to go with the background type in here. Color here is going to be orange. And then of course for typography, we're going to remove the decoration as well. And there it is. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now and simply update. And let us take a look at what we have. Let's view the page. Let's scroll down. And there it is. Okay, so one more thing I want us to actually do is to add a bit more spacing. Remember, we added 50 pixels of spacing for the unique travel design section. So let's do the exact same thing as well. Let's add some spacing for the blog section. So let's go back to edit with Elementor. All right, so we're going to go to the main container again. All right, so let me scroll down, edit the container. Let's go to advanced padding. So top will be 50 pixels from the top, and then bottom will be 50 pixels. And there it is. Okay, updates. And we are good to go. Let me just view the page one more time, make sure nothing is broken. And there it is, much better. So that's it for adding the blog section. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Let's continue to build out the homepage. And to be honest with you, this section we're going to add now is something I just thought about. In the original plan for this course, I didn't have any intention of building out this particular section. In fact, let me show you the model site that I'm using as a guide. You can see that after the image carousel, we have the blog section, and then we're going to have like the call to action section, and then finally we will have the reviews section. this is all I planned for the home page. However, I have decided to add one more section by making use of an element from the Essential Add-ons plugin. And this element is the image accordion element, and it's the one right here, image accordion. And this is actually a very, very cool element that you can use to display like an image and then some text. And then when the user clicks on the image or text, it will take them to a particular page. So since our blog is one on travel, in addition to displaying posts from, different continents and countries and so on, we could also create a section specifically where we're going to display posts from a particular country or a particular content. So as an example, let me show you. By default, we've got 4 image accordions, all right? So for image accordion 1, I'm going to click on it. And then for the background image, I am going to choose the Spanish flag. So the idea here right now is that we're saying, hey, if you want to read articles from the country of Spain, then this is where you would find those articles, as an example, right? So in here right now, I can just simply change the title here to Spain, and then I'll just say read our best content from Spain. Something like that. So when the user hovers on it, he sees Spain, read our best content from Spain, and there it is. And we can do the exact same thing for the other accordions as well. So let me show you real quick. This is for accordion number 1. Let's go to accordion number 2. We can change this image. Let's go with Brazil. I love Brazil. Okay, so I'm going to type in Brazil. That's the title. And then again, read our best content from the land of samba. Land of samba. Okay, and let me just grab this text because we're going to use it again. Okay, so we've got Brazil, and then next we can also add, let's see, we've got Germany. Okay, let's add some Germany in there as well. We've got Germany, and then for the text, read our best content from the land of, what are Germans known for? Efficiency, energy, engineering, or beer? I don't know. Let's just keep it civil. Read our best content from Germany. All right, from Deutschland, from Germany. Okay, and for the last accordion, this one is going to be very, 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 very easy. I'm going to go with Thailand. I do live in Thailand, so I love Thailand. So I will say, read our best content from the land of smiles, as Thailand is famous for. Okay, and there it is. So how you would actually do this if you want to include this on your real website is, see, the links, one thing you could do right now is the links, you could link them right here. You see where you have title link here. You will now add the link either to the category. Maybe you have a category under Spain, for example. This is where you would add the link so that when they click on the Spanish title or the image, it will take them to the category of posts under Spain. So this is how you can make use of this particular kind of image accordion. Now, there are plenty of styling options in here. For example, you've got the direction. You can go with vertical if you wanted to, although to be honest with you, it doesn't look that great. I think horizontal would be a much better choice. And then under style, again, you can do things like increase the height. You can add a background color for your image accordions. You can increase the border radius, which will make the borders, the edges, circular if you wanted to. And things like the thumbnail, for example, you can add margins and paddings and so on. But I just wanted to show you how you can add additional content to your homepage, showcasing posts or content from very specific categories, and that's pretty much it. So hope you enjoyed this little section. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. I hope you're enjoying the tutorial thus far. I just wanted to quickly mention that if you're interested in taking your Elementor skills to the very next level, I actually do have an Elementor masterclass that's almost 10 hours in length. I'm going to cover everything you need to know about Elementor in this course, and you can get this course either on my own personal platform, thewebmonkeyacademy.com, or you can also get it on Udemy as well. Now, I should also mention that on Udemy, it is by far the highest rated course on Elementor in the entire platform. And trust me, if you type in Elementor on Udemy, you will find over 100 courses, but mine just happens to be the highest rated, and for good reason. It is a really awesome course. So if you feel like, you know what, I want to learn a lot more about Elementor and learn everything there is to know about Elementor, why not consider enrolling in my course? Again, I'll have the links in the description box below. Now let's get back to the tutorial. The next section we're going to add is going to be very simple, very straightforward. It's meant to be a call to action section. So maybe you're promoting like a new kind of product or service, or you want to draw the attention of the user on your site to a particular page or link. You would be able to use this particular kind of element. Now, this element is provided by the essential add-ons as well. So I'm going to scroll all the way down here, and you're going to see call to action. Let's drop that in there. And right here for the content style, you want to go with the flex grid. And then you have different kinds of presets. So you have preset 1, and then you have preset 2. We're going to stick with preset 1. And in fact, the only thing I'm going to change here would be the actual title. So the title here is going to be deals and packages. And I'm going to make that one an H3. And that's pretty much it. So for the actual link itself, actually, let's make a change. When you hover on the button here, you can see it turns to blue. Let's make that turn to orange instead. So let's go over here to style. Okay, and then here where you have the primary button style, let's click in there. And then here where you have the normal hover, we're going to go with hover. And then background color in here, we're going to switch that one to the accent. So there you go. Now it's orange. And that's it. Now for the actual link for the button itself, if you want to use this particular element, you'll have the link right down here. Simply add the link either to your shopping page, or if it's an external link, this is where you would add the link. Last thing to do would be to add some padding to the section. So let's go over here to edit the container, advanced, padding 50 pixels from the top, 50 pixels from the bottom. And that's pretty much it. So that's it. Very short. Jump in the very next video where I'll now show you how you can add reviews from past customers. I'll see you then. All right, so the last part we're going to add will be the reviews or testimonials from past customers who are very happy. And we've got 3 of them. We have Bjorn Anderson from Iceland, we've got Vanessa Carlton from the United States, and of course we have Raul Gonzalez from Spain. So let's go ahead and create this. First thing I'm going to do is to add the header. And the main title here would be reviews from past customers. Okay, and of course we're going to align to the center, and of course we're going to add our divider, and let's align it to the center as well. This is going to be a little bit wide. I think let's make it 50%, and then the gap, bring it all the way down to 2. Okay, now we're going to add a container just beneath the divider, and inside of this container we're going to add the testimonial element, which we will get from Elementor itself. So we have testimonial right there. Let's add that. So the first one here is from Mr. Bjorn Anderson. So his name, Bjorn Anderson. And of course, title will be Iceland. All right, and that's it. Now, the text size for the testimonial is quite large. We need to reduce it, so I'm going to go over here to style, go to typography, and then size. We're going to go with 18 pixels. And there it is. So from here, all I'm going to do right now is to simply duplicate, and then just make the changes. So remove Mr. Anderson's picture, put in Vanessa Carlton, change the name to Vanessa Carlton, And of course, she's not from Iceland, she's from the United States. And last but not least, we have Senor Raul Gonzalez from Spain. All right, and Raul Gonzalez. And there it is. So the only thing we need to do right now is to get our columns right now to be in the horizontal style. So as you might imagine, it's going to be very, very straightforward. We're going to go over here to the main container, holding the three of them, and then direction. We're going to go with row horizontal, and that is it. Pretty straightforward, right? Last thing to do would just be to add some padding. So once again, we're going to come in here, add 50 pixels to the top, 50 pixels at the bottom. We're just trying to maintain the 50 pixels consistently throughout the entire homepage. So update, and let's take a look. Let's go all the way down here, and that is pretty much it. I will see you in the next class. Before we delve into building the other pages, I just wanted to have like a very, very quick review of the homepage, because the homepage is easily the most important page on any website, and we've done very, very, very well. Whether you're using the background image or the background video for your banner, it's really, really, really cool either way. So we've gotten our header, we have the main banner right here, the main headline, we are Travel Meets Adventure, book your trip now. So ideally, this button right here should go towards maybe something like the page where the potential customer can fill out the details, indicate which country they want to travel to, when they want to travel, things like that. And of course, we've got some good old text and images in here. And then the unique travel design, why the customer should go with us. And then, of course, we also want to have images from our travel, so images from different parts of the world and so on. That's very, very, very important. And then we can also have like the visit our blog section, where users can potentially read articles from different parts of our blog. And then I also added this very special image accordion section, where users could also choose to read articles from very, very specific countries. Of course, you can also use image accordions for other types of content as well. And then we have the call to action, highlighting that, hey, we've got a new deal, a new package going on, check it out. And then, of course, finally, we have the reviews from past happy customers. And there we have our footer as well. So there's a few other modifications one can do on the home page. Don't forget that with Elementor, and even with the essential add-ons plugin that we've installed, you do have access to a very wide variety of different types of elements. And if you were using the paid version of Elementor, you will have access to even more. But I would encourage you to try out all the types of elements. Like you have like the counter, for example. You've got like the SoundCloud. Maybe you want to play like a short clip or a short audio file. You have that ability. You can add your icon list, toggle buttons as well, alert, and so on. And then under essential add-ons as well, you have your advanced accordion, you have advanced tabs, and so much more. So I would encourage you in your free time to take a look at these additional elements. You might find one or two that you actually want to incorporate onto your home page. But that's it. We've done really, really well in designing this particular home page. So join me in the very next video, where we will now build out the blog page. I'll see you then. Alrighty, so now we're going to build out the blog page, or the articles page. And because we set the articles page to be our posts page on the WordPress backend, you can see we've got the archives of all the posts so far on the site. However, if you try to edit with Elementor, you will not have that option. Like if I was to go to edit page here, for example, you will see that the blue box inviting you to edit with Elementor will not be available. That's because we've told WordPress that, hey, the articles page is going to be our posts page. So WordPress basically will not allow any page builder to edit that page. So what we need to do is we need to go back to our settings reading, and then simply uncheck the post page to be something else. Let's just keep it on select, okay? So this will now free WordPress's grip on the articles page and will now allow us to make changes. So let's make those changes. Let's go back, now go to the articles page, and now we can edit with Elementor. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is let's go to edit with page first. And then we now have the button here to edit with Elementor. And then here is what we're going to do. The first thing I will do right here is to come down here to the page settings and let us hide the title. We don't want articles. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to drag the header in here. We're going to make this one an H1 and we're going to simply call this one blog. Okay. And of course, we're going to align to the center. Style in here, we're going to make some changes to the style. Let me just check what I have here in my record. So I've got this on Oswald. It's going to be the font family. So we're going with Oswald. And the font size, or weight rather, the font weight is going to be 700 bold. And there it is. Let's now add the divider. Okay, so we have the divider. And we'll align to the center. And then we're going to go with 25%. And of course, the style gap is going to be down to 2. Okay, let me show you exactly what we're actually trying to accomplish here. I think that might be a lot easier. Let me just drag the page right here. So this is what we're after. We're going to use the image accordion that we use in the home page to display the latest posts. And then we'll have different sections, one here specifically for Europe, and then we'll have for Asia, and then we'll have for South America as well. So this is what we're trying to accomplish. So let's go ahead right now and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make use of the image accordion. However, the image accordion will have a small title of latest posts. So let's drag the header in here just beneath the divider. So we're going to change this to latest posts. Okay. And then we're now going to go all the way down here to our image accordion. Let's drop that in there. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to pick out images from the posts that we have. So let me choose the first one in here, which is from St. Petersburg. And the title for this one is Visiting St. Petersburg. So in capital letters, Visiting St. Petersburg. Okay. And then for the image accordion text, we're just going to go ahead and remove that one. So all we'll have here is just basically the title of the post. So that's it for the very first one. The second one in here is going to be the Rainbow Mountain. The Rainbow Mountain. So let me go ahead and add the image here as well. So what I'm going to do right now is just to save time and not make this video too long, I'm going to pause the video and add the remaining 2 titles for the posts. Alright, so welcome back, and as you can see, I have added the remaining 2 posts. So we've got Rapa Nui Island, and then we have fashion in Istanbul. And of course, if you're building this on your real website, you want to make sure that these links actually will point to the posts. Okay, so as an example, let me just quickly do this real quick and show you. I'm going to view the page. Let's go over here to the back end real quick. Let's go to posts. So let me pick one right here, 4 days in St. Petersburg. Let's go ahead and view this post. So this is the post right here. I'm going to grab the URL right there, 4 days in St. Petersburg. And now go back in here, visiting St. Petersburg. I'm going to open up the accordion in here. And then right down here where you have title link, I'm going to paste the link right there. So that's how you can link the images that you have in your accordion to the actual posts that they represent. Okay, that's it for the very first part. Now the second part here will now be to add the posts from the continent of Europe. So let's do this. I'm going to add a new header in here, and this one is going to be Europe. capital letters, Europe, and then we're going to add our good old post grid from the Essential Add-ons plugin. So let's look for post grid. It's right here. Drop that beneath Europe. So what we're going to do right here is where you have categories, I'm going to click in here and I'm going to type in Europe because we're speaking specifically from Europe. And there it is. Okay, so posts per page right here is going to be 3. And then for the layout settings, again, we're going to go with the grid style. Our number of columns here is going to be 3. The image size will be set to full. Let's activate the enable image ratio as well. And then of course, for the title, or I'm sorry, for the excerpt, we're going to make that one 50. So we have plenty of text. And then for the meta information, we're not showing any avatar, we're not showing any author name, and we're not showing any dates either. And then again, for the titles, for the posts, let's come down here to style. And then where you have color, typography, and spacing, click in there. And now for the title style, we're going to go over here to typography. And then where you have the style, I'm going to go with italic. And then decoration here is going to be none. We can also make the size of the title just a little bit smaller because right now it's a little bit too big. So let's go with 26 pixels. I think that should be fine. And of course, last but not least, let's change the color for the read more text. So we're going to come down here to read more button style and then change the color in here. And there it is. Actually, on second thoughts, I think it might be a good idea for us to actually add the date that the posts were published because I think people will be interested in that. So let's go back to the content, layout settings, and then right down here, show date. We're going to say yes. Let us actually show the date. And there it is right there. If you want to customize the date style, you can come over here to style. And then right here, you'll have the meta style. You can click in there. And then right here, you can change like the date of the color, for example. And then here, we can change the size of the dates if you wanted to. So we can make that one just a little bit small at 16 pixels. And we can also add the style for italic. And there it is. So what I'm going to do right now, very, very simply, is I am going to duplicate the exact same thing for Asia and finally for South America as well. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll resume the video once I am done. On second thoughts, I just realized that we can simply duplicate the entire section in here. So check this out, okay? I'm going to go over here to the main container holding Europe and the posts. And then I'm going to right click in here and then I'll simply duplicate. And there it is. All we need to do right now is to simply change Europe to Asia. Like sometimes I forget how easy it is to actually just make changes real quick when you duplicate. So for the post grid itself, all we'll change in here is just change Europe here to Asia. Let me try that one again. Asia. There you go. And just like that. Okay, very, 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 very simple. And then let's just duplicate one more time. And yeah, I'm going to come over here, change Asia to South America. It's almost like a cheat code, right? This duplicate function, it's so powerful. Okay, post grid. Let's just change this one from Asia, and I'm gonna go with America. Let me try that one again, America. So South America, and there it is. Just like that, we've successfully built out our blog page. Now let me just add some padding at the very top in here for the main container at the very, very top. So let me try that. Padding, advanced, 50 pixels on top, and then 50 pixels at the bottom. Let's go ahead right now and update. And just like that, we've gotten ourselves our blog page. So let me just try the homepage first of all. Homepage, articles, and there you go. Now we've got the blog page. And just to confirm that it's actually working, if I clicked on 4 days in St. Petersburg, for example, this will now take us straight to the post for 4 days in St. Petersburg. We go back in here to I visited Chiang and there you go. We have the post I visited Chiang and that is it. So we've successfully built out our blog page. Thank you so much for watching the video, and of course I will see you in the next class. All right, so now let's go ahead to create the contact page, and ideally we'd want to have like a contact form on the page and then some text saying, hey, if you want to get in contact with us, simply fill out the form below, something like that. Now the thing is, with the paid version of Elementor, there's actually an element for creating forms, but with the free version, we're going to have to install a third-party plugin. Now under the essential add-ons section right here, you will see different types of elements representing different types of forms. You will have contact form 7 right here, you have Caldera forms, you have Ninja forms, you have Gravity forms, and so on. Now, if you try to add any one of these elements, like let's say the Ninja forms, for example, you'll get a message saying, hey, you need to install and activate the Ninja Forms plugin first. So the plugin we're actually going to install to create our contact form will be WP Forms. It is my favorite plugin for doing so. So let's come down here to plugins. I'm going to add new, and the plugin is going to be WP Forms. And this is the plugin right here, Contact Form by WP Forms. So I'm going to install, I'm going to activate the plugin, and let me refresh the backend. And now you're going to see WP Forms link right here. I'm going to click on add new. And let's just first of all provide the name contact form. That's going to be the name of the form. Now in here you have a wide variety of different types of templates, but I'm just going to go with the simple contact form. It's the one right here. It has a name, email, and message fields. That's enough. So I'll click on use templates. Okay, and there it is. Now we can choose to add additional fields like a drop down or a phone box, things like that, but I'm gonna keep these as it is. However, I don't know about you, but my personal preference for the name field is just to have a single field. So instead of first and last, we're just gonna have a single field. So I'm gonna click on the name field, and then right here where it says format, I'm gonna go with simple, and there it is. Now under settings, you can add your spam protection if you wanted to, and then you're going to have notifications where you can set who will be notified once the message has been sent. I would recommend that right here where it says from name, you can click on show smart tags and then choose name. So what this will do is that the form will simply provide the name of the person that has filled out the message in the from name field. Same thing goes with the from email field as well. Admin email doesn't make any sense because the from email should be the email of the person sending you the message. So I'm going to click on show smart tags again and simply choose the email field. There you go. And finally, under confirmations, in here you can simply choose what will happen once the message has been sent. Do you want to display like a thank you message, we'll get in contact with you shortly? Or do you want to like redirect them to a particular page, or maybe redirect them to a custom URL? You have all those options in here. I'm going to go ahead now and simply hit save, and we're good to go. So I'm going to close this, and now let's go over to the contact page itself, and let's begin to build out the page. Edit with Elementor. First thing we're going to do is we're going to hide the page title. So hide title. Now we can add our own custom title, contact us, align to the center, make it an H1, and then for the typography I'm going to go with the Oswald family. Again, this is entirely subjective, but I like the Oswald family. And then I'm going to add some padding to the main container. So padding, we have 50 pixels on top, 50 pixels on bottom. And now let's add just some text, okay, that says something like, hey, thank you for contacting us, we'll get in touch with you, yada yada yada. So let me just paste some messages in here, and there it is. All right, now for the form itself, I'm going to scroll all the way down here, and I'm looking for WP Forms, and it's the one right here. So I'm going to choose WP Forms, paste it in there, and then here I'm going to select the contact form that we've just created, and there it is. So name, email, comment, or message. We can choose to hide the title because we don't need to say that it's a contact form. It's pretty obvious. And one thing we could do is we could increase the width of the name and email fields. You can see they're very narrow, very thin. So you can come over here to style, and then when you have the input and text area, right here you have the input height. We can increase that just a little bit. Let's go all the way down to 50. I think 50 should be fine. And there it is. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead now and hit update. But before we do that, let's add a little bit of some padding between the contact us text and then the text paragraph that we have. So I'm gonna add some padding to this text editor. The padding will just be from the top. So let's go with 25. Okay, that's fine. Update. And now we can view the page. And voila, that is it. We have successfully built out the contact page. And let me just try to see if we can change the color of the submit button in here. You can see it's blue. Let's try to see if we can make it orange, just to keep it consistent with the rest of the website. I'm actually not sure if we can do so, but let's see. I'm going to go over here to style, submit button down here. Okay, awesome, we can. So background color right here. I'm simply going to go with orange, and there it is. Okay, beautiful, we could do that. So update. And then let's view the page one last time, just to make sure nothing is broken. And there it is. So that's it. We have ourselves a contact page. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Now that we've successfully built out the contact page, the other pages that we need to build out will be the about and destinations pages. However, I'm going to introduce you to the concept of using pre-built templates. The idea here is that now that you're already comfortable working with Elementor, you know how to add elements and modify them, there is really no need to build pages from scratch. You can simply take a pre-built template and then simply modify it to your own taste. So thankfully, with the Essential Add-ons plugin that we've installed, you do have access to pre-built templates. Obviously, Elementor Pro also offers you pre-built templates as well. But let me quickly show you what you will do. You can come down here to Essential Add-ons. All right, and then down here, you're going to see this thing called Templately. And it says unlock 3000 plus ready templates built with Elementor. So I'm going to go ahead now and simply click on install Templately. And now it's active. Okay. So to use this templates, you see the link right here that says Templately. Okay, I'm going to click in there. Now, the thing about working with Templately is that you need to have an account with them. You need to log in first before you can make use of any one of these templates. So right here, you're going to see login. You can click on log in. Now, because I already have an account with them, I am able to simply sign in. But since this is going to be your first time, you'd want to sign up. So it's very straightforward. Just add your name, email, password, agree to their privacy policy and terms of services, and then simply sign up. You'll get an email. You'll need to click on a link in that email to activate your account, and then you come back in here and you simply sign in. So let me just simply go ahead right now and quickly sign in with my Gmail account. Okay, sign in. And login failed. Okay, let me try that again. All right, one more time. Okay, there you go. So I used the wrong password. All right, so now I am logged in, and the thing is, to make this a lot easier for you, rather than having the box here on all, because some of these you actually have to pay for them. You can see our starter, which is free, is 721 templates, and then the pro ones are 709. So we can filter out the pro ones. So I'm going to click on starter right here. Okay, and then you have all these different types of templates. Now we're looking for a template for the about page. So in here, the search box, I'll simply type in about and then press enter. And now you can see the different templates for an about page. So I'm just going to go ahead right now and use the very first one as an example. So I'll click on insert right here, and then it's going to say, hey, add the page title where you want us to insert this template into. So I'm going to say about. Now we've already created an about page before, but don't worry, everything's going to be fine. I'm simply going to click on create a page now. So now it's creating a new about page, and it's also going to import this template to that page. And there it is. Okay, now I'm going to close this. And if we go to our pages, you will now notice that we have, well, like I said, we have two about pages. We have this one right here, and then we have the second one in here. However, I'm going to go ahead now and simply delete the first one that we initially created, because we now have a new about page. So from here right now, I can simply click on edit with Elementor, and it's going to take us straight to the page with the new template. And there it is. This is the template for our about page. And from here, you can simply modify anything that you want to change. You can change the text, change the images, change the titles, things like that. One thing I should point out though is that these templates were built with the older version of Elementor. Why? Because if you try to edit the container, it's going to say edit section instead. These are not containers, these are sections. Now, sections are the older form of containers. Containers are much better because they load faster, and your ability to change the direction and display of the elements inside of a container is a lot easier than, say, if they were inside of a section. So what you want to do is this. If you're sure that you want to work with this section, simply click on the edit section, and then right here you're going to see convert to container. So Elementor is going to offer you the opportunity to convert your section to a container. So I'm going to click on convert, and what will happen right now is that you're going to have the section duplicated, but now it's going to be in the form of a container. So now you can simply delete this section, and now you will have the new container holding the element. Same goes in here as well, our mission. You can click on edit section again, come over here, convert, simply now delete the old section, and just below it you'll have the new container. And that's pretty much how to work with templates on your website with the essential add-ons. I'm going to go ahead now and simply update. Don't forget though that because we deleted the initial about page, our main menu is no longer going to have the about menu item. You can see right now we only have articles, destinations, contact. So to change this, of course, we're going to come back down here to appearance, go to menus, and then make sure, just remove this about, view all, and then add the about link again. And there it is, save menu. And of course, the about text is going to be back to the main menu. So that's pretty much how to work with the templates. And forget about people who would say that, oh, if you're working with templates, then you're not a real developer and so on. That's total nonsense, okay? I believe in working smart and not necessarily hard. Due to the fact that you now know how to work with Elementor, you're comfortable adding elements and so on, it's perfectly fine for you to simply come in here right now, look for templates that closely match the page you're trying to build, and simply insert them, and then you can make whatever modifications that you want to make to that template. It's much faster, it's much smarter, and it will save you plenty of time and energy. So again, under here in Templately, you can also check out the blocks. In addition to templates for full pages, they also have blocks for like certain kinds of content, like a sign-up list or like a reservation form or a header section, things like that. So you can come in right now and take a look at all the different types of blocks that they have. And they also have packs as well. And then they have templates and so much more. So plenty of stuff to explore with Templately. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Okay, so now let us begin to redesign our website for responsive mode. And I have to tell you that responsive mode can be quite tricky. It is one thing to design your website for desktop view, but it is quite another to make sure that your website looks good on a mobile device. But nevertheless, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. So let's take a look at what we have now by default, and it's really not that good. I mean, up until this point, it's fine. Try to ignore the banner for now. Just focus on the header, which consists of the logo and the main menu. So if we begin to shrink the size of the window, now you will notice that at this point, the menu has turned into the hamburger menu. This would be fine in most cases. However, given the fact that we only have 4 menu items, I think that even at this screen size, we should still be able to display all of them as they are. So we're going to have to make that change. And then also, when you click on the hamburger menu, you can see we don't see the text for the menu item. So we'll have to fix that one. And then all the way down here to the very end, you can see that the logo is on top, the menu is below, but they're not aligned at the center. Let's try the header for the internal page. So this looks a bit better because we don't have the banner interfering. However, same issues, the text cannot be seen, and here they are aligned, they're misaligned terribly. So let's fix this. We're going to fix the global header first because it's a little bit easier. We don't have the banner interfering. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and then switch to responsive mode and then go to tablet. Okay. The first thing I want us to do is to change the breakpoint, because now for tablet, you can see that the menu has become the hamburger menu. I don't want that. So I'm going to edit the menu, go to layout, and then right here where it says breakpoint, I'm going to switch over to mobile instead. Okay. Let's go ahead now and update that change real quick. All right. And then for the logo, we're going to increase the size a little bit. So let's go over here to style. And I think we can go all the way to 75%. Okay. Let's also update, make that change. So I think for the tablet mode, this is fine. I think it looks just fine. However, when it now comes to the mobile view, big changes we need to make. First of all, clicking on the logo, let's align it to the center. So alignment right here, move to center. Oh, and by the way, you may notice that right here, you will have this icon indicating that the changes you're making right now will be reflected specifically in the tablet mode. Also, if I was to go to style, for example, you can see we have the icon right here, the icon right here. So any change I make to like the width of the logo will only be for the mobile view and not tablet or desktop. So one more thing, let's also change the element of the hamburger menu. So I'm going to go over here to layout, and it should be right here, alignment to the center. That's good. But then let's not forget the text, because when we click on the hamburger menu, we can't see the text. So let's go over here to style, and then right here where you have drop down, click on drop down, and then text color. We're going to go with black. All right. So if we click on the hamburger menu now, we can read the items in our main menu. So I think this should be fine. Let's update. Okay, and fingers crossed. Let's view the page. Let's view the contact page, and let's reduce the screen size. And okay, so now you can see it's looking good, looking good, looking good, looking good, looking good, looking good, looking good. And then here, it looks quite good. However, at this point, like right at the very point where it changes to the mobile view, you can see that the logo seems to be overlapping with the hamburger menu, which is not good. It's only when you shrink the screen size even further, that's when you can now see the space in between them. So to fix this, one thing we could simply do is very easily, we could change the size of the logo and make it smaller. So again, let's go back to responsive, go to mobile portrait, and then for the logo, we could come down here to style, and then again, reduce the size from 75. Let's go all the way to 60%. and hopefully this should fix the issue. Let's try that one more time. View the page, go to contact, reduce the screen size, and now let's see. Okay, and at this point, yet again, it still seems to be overlapping. That is a problem, but again, we can solve that problem by reducing the size of the logo even further. So let's do this one last time. I'm gonna go over here to responsive mode, mobile portrait, go to, oh, sorry about that. I'm not quite sure what happened there. My apologies. Elementor can be funny sometimes. Okay, I go back to responsive mode. Tablet. All right, logo again, style, max width. Let's bring this down to maybe 50%. And if possible, let's even add some padding. How about that? Let's add some padding to the bottom. So we have 10 pixels of padding. Let's update. And now this should work. I hope it will work this time. So passport, travel, contact page, shrink the screen size. And there you go. Okay, fantastic. So right here you can see we're shrinking, and then now at this very point right now, this is where it has switched to the mobile view, and you can see right there that the logo is no longer interfering with the hamburger menu. And if we go all the way to the end, there it is. We can also expand, and we can now take a look at the menu items. Okay, that's it for part one. Now part two is going to involve this one involving the homepage where we have the main banner. And what we're going to do is pretty much the exact same thing. So I'm going to go over here to edit with Elementor, edit the homepage header. All right, and then we're going to switch to the tablet mode first of all. And then right here, I'm going to click on the menu. All right. By the way, we're working with the menu below the main menu, so don't get confused, okay? It's the menu in here that you cannot see. So I'm going to click on the hamburger menu, go to layout, change from tablets to mobile, okay? And then let's go ahead and update. And let's see the little change that we've done. Go back to the home page. Let's shrink this size. And okay, so cool. So now you can see that we have the menu items being shown. Again, try to ignore the banner. I know it's interfering, but for now, just ignore it. So it's fine. It's looking good up until the very end here, where again, we have the exact same issues with the alignment. And of course, the text also cannot be seen when we click on the hamburger menu. Okay, let's go ahead right now and quickly fix those changes real quick. Okay, so let's come down here to responsive mode. Now go to mobile portrait. Okay, and again, we're not working with the one on top here. It's the one down here that we're working with. So let's click on the logo in here first of all. Let's align to the center. And then remember, for the style, we made the logo to be 60%, which is fine. However, for the hamburger menu, we're going to go over here to layout and then align to the center. Make sure it's aligned in the center here as well. And then style, we have dropped down the typography in here for the text color is going to be black, so that when they click on the hamburger menu, they can see the menu items right there. Let's go ahead now and update. And I believe this should be fine. Go back in here. And okay, that is it. This is exactly what we are looking for. So you can see at the tablet view, it's fine. Again, up until this particular point where, again, okay, we do have the hamburger menu overlapping with the logo. Okay, we're going to fix that. And then at the very end, they're actually aligned together at the center. So let's make the very last quick change. Sorry about that. Let's make the last quick change to the header to the logo. So we're going to add some padding. All right, so let's come down in here, responsive mode. Again, let's go over here to the logo. And then alignment here is going to be at the center for the logo. And then style, we set it at 60%. And then padding, if I recall, I think we added about 10 pixels of padding. I think that should be fine. Let's update. And there it is. Okay, view the page. Go back in here to the home page. And there you go. Okay, so up at this point, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And then right here, as you can see, where we have that change, the logo is no longer overlapping with the menu. And there it is. Okay, so that's it for setting our headers to be responsive. Jump into the next video where we'll now make the footer responsive. Next up is going to be the footer, and thankfully this is going to be a lot easier than our header. And by default, this is what we currently have in the footer. So we reduce the screen size and it's looking just fine. Fine. And even at the very end, it's actually not too bad. The only thing we need to do here is just to maybe align the text and the social media icons to the center, and that's it. We're good to go. So let's quickly do that. I'm going to edit the global footer. Okay, and as usual, we're going to come down here, switch to the responsive mode, and we're going to go with tablet. Or rather, let's go all the way to mobile. Sorry, mobile is where we need to make the change. So here, really all we need to do is just to align everything here to the center. Now, we could also try clicking on edit container because it's the container holding all these elements. So if we go to edit container, let's try to see if we can simply align all the items to the center just like that. And there it is. We've been able to align everything in here just by aligning the main container to the center. Now for the address, you can see it's not aligned to the center exactly. So let's edit the text in here, go to style, and then align to the center. So the only thing that wasn't the only thing that wasn't aligned to the center was the text, but everything else is now at the center. And that's pretty much it. That's all we really needed to do. Let's go ahead now and update, and let us make sure that this actually looks good on the front end. Let's refresh the page, go to the home page, shrink the page, scroll all the way down here, and there it is. That is our footer, our responsive footer. Good on desktop, good on tablet, good on mobile. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next class. So now that we've designed our headers and footer to be responsive, it is now time for us to handle the home page. And this is not going to be easy because we do have this main banner that's interfering with the header. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and switch over here to tablets. And there it is. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do right now is to reduce the size of our text. So using the navigator here on the right, I'm going to go with the heading. We're going to go over here to style, go to typography, and we're going to reduce the size all the way to 100. So even if we expand the screen here to the maximum screen size for a tablet and then shrinking down to the minimum size for a tablet, you can see that the text looks just fine. However, now that we're dealing with a smaller screen size, we could also reduce the negative margin that we added to the container. So I'm going to go over here to container, go to advanced, and then here where it says negative 264. Sorry about that. Let me add that again, negative 264. Okay, we can reduce the size all the way down to about 165 based on my calculation, because once you start going below that, you'll see we're going to have the white space appearing. So 165, negative 165 would be a good value. Sorry about that. I don't know why it keeps reducing. 165. Okay, that's what we're looking for. All right, so just like that, this looks much better already. Now, as we scroll down, this section here isn't looking that great. So one thing we could simply do here is we could make each individual container go full width 100%. So I'm going to click on the first container in here, for example, and then here where it says width, we're going to go all the way to 100%. You can switch pixels here, so just switch it to percentage, and then we're going to go to 100%. And then we can also add some padding as well for this container. So we can add some padding to the top. Let's just say 20 pixels. Okay, 20 pixels padding all around, I think should be fine. And then the same thing for the images in here as well. Switch from pixel here to percentage. Go 100%. This is already looking much better. Again, this one as well. Switch to percentage. Go 100%. And then we could also add the padding in here, 20 pixels all around. And then for the image as well, we're gonna go with percentage 100%. And there it is. Okay, this is already looking much better. Now as we scroll down, this particular section seems to be just fine. The gallery is fine as well. I don't think we need to change anything in here at all. The blog section is also fine. This special section is also fine as well. And then the deals and packages is also okay. And then reviews from past customers seems to be just fine as well. So overall, this is definitely looking much better than what it was originally. However, what about the mobile portrait? Okay, yeah, this is gonna be this is gonna be even trickier. Okay, now here you can see that we do have plenty of white space. So as you can imagine, we're gonna have to go back here to the container, and then for the negative margins, sorry about that, 0, 0, we're gonna have to go negative, let's start with 200. Sorry about that. Let me try that again. Minus 200. Okay, that's not enough. So we're gonna go a little bit higher. Let's stop at 225. Okay, so 225, and then the text, again, this is very large. So we can reduce the text even further to, let's say, maybe 60 pixels. I think that should be fine. 60 pixels. But one thing we could also do in this situation is we could reduce the height of our container. Remember, we had to put like a minimum height. So if we go to container in here, go to layout, minimum height here at 1,000, we can reduce this because now this is mobile view, so we don't need it to be too tall. So let's see, let's go to 750 pixels. Yeah, I think this is fine. Yep, this is fine. Yep, this is just fine. All right, so we've got the logo, the hamburger menu, and then we do have the text right there, and then we also have a button. Okay, looking good. Let's scroll down here. This looks good. Images look good as well. Looking good. Unique travel design section looks fantastic. I don't think we need to change anything in here at all. And now we do have the gallery, the carousel. However, let me mention that there are certain kinds of content that don't do very well on mobile devices, and slides and carousels tend to be one of them. So let me show you, it's possible for you to hide certain kinds of elements on specific screen sizes. So if you wanted to hide the carousel in here as an example, we can go over here to edit container. Okay, now go to advanced, and then right here where it says responsive, we can come in right now and simply say hide on mobile portrait, and this will not be shown anymore. Let's scroll down. The blog section is fine, and then these as well. Let's also hide this. I don't think this is going to do that well on mobile device, So the exact same thing, advanced, go to responsive, and then hide a mobile portrait. Deals and packages looks fine, and then reviews look fine as well. And of course, the footer looks just fine. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead now and simply update. And that is it. We have ourselves a fully responsive homepage, good on desktop, good on tablet as well, and then also good on the mobile device. Now, just to make sure that this is actually a job well done, I'm going to bring back a browser where we're not logged in just to test. Okay, so this is a different browser. We are logged out. And this, I believe, should be the tablet mode. Okay, so this is tablet mode. Header looks fine. The homepage looks fine as well. And as we shrink this even further, this looks fine, looks fine, looks fine. And I believe now this is okay. Now you can see we have a bit of an issue because there's plenty of white space up here. And as we scroll down, let's see. Okay, the rest of the website is fine. Notice that we no longer see the image carousel anymore because we hit it for the mobile view. But right here, we do have plenty of white space. So let us fix that. And even from here, actually, if I was to expand the screen size here, you can see we do have this issue. So at the smallest screen size for a mobile device, it's fine. However, if you're using like the bigger mobile devices, they will see this white space right here, and that is not good. So we do need to fix this. I'm going to go back to container, go back to advanced, and then where we have the negative margin, we need to go quite high as well. Okay, 286. So I think 286 should get the job done for us. So negative pixels 286, I think that should fix whatever white spacing issues that we might have on the mobile view. Okay, update. And let me bring back the browser in here. Let's refresh the page. And okay, so there it is. Now it is looking much better. And this is why you really need to test whenever you're working with the mobile responsive design. Perhaps maybe one very last change we can make is to change the color of the hamburger menu. You can see it, even though it's brown, we can't really see it that well. So let's change it. Okay, let's make a quick change to the color of the hamburger menu. So I'm going to go ahead now and simply exit. And let's go back to the home page. And now let us edit the home page header. Okay. And I'm going to go over here to the menu right here. I'm going to come over here to responsive mode, mobile. And then for the menu, we're going to go over here to style. And then here where we have the color, we do have the menu trigger and close icon down here. So this color, we can just simply make this one black, or we can even make it white. I think white would be better since it can blend in well with the background image. So let's go ahead now, update. And if I bring back our window right here, refresh. And there you see, now you can see it is white and can easily be seen by the users. So that's it for responsive design. I know it's not very straightforward, and it can be quite challenging and quite frustrating sometimes. But the whole point here is that you need to test out, change values, test, and make sure you test at every possible screen size. You want to make sure that your website looks good on every single screen size. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next class. Let's not forget about making responsive the blog page and the contact page as well. So let's see what we have here. I'm going to edit with Elementor. And let us switch over here to the tablet portrait. And for the most part, this looks pretty decent. Although I will say that we can add some padding for the latest posts link right here. So I'm going to edit the post, go to advanced, and then for the padding, we can add some padding on the left, give it about 5 pixels. And that's pretty much all we need to do for the blog page on the tablet mode. But then for mobile portraits, let's see, we could choose to hide this particular carousel on mobile view. It's entirely up to you. You can choose to keep it if you want to. But then scrolling down, I think the rest looks just fine. And there it is. Okay, awesome. The rest looks fine. That's awesome. Let's go ahead now and update. And let's take a look at the contact page. I believe the contact page will require a little bit more work. So let's go to the contact page, edit with Elementor, come all the way down here and switch to responsive mode, to tablet. And okay, so right now you can see that we don't have any padding for the text editor, and we don't have any padding for the form either. So let's quickly handle that. I'm going to click on edit the text box, go to advanced padding, and let's add actually let's just add 20 pixels all around. Okay, so 20 pixels all around, and I think that's fine. And then same goes for the form as well. Let's go to advanced, and then for the padding we can also add sorry about that, we can also add 20 pixels. And I think this looks much better. Let's try for the mobile portrait. Contact us. Oh wow, this looks massive. Okay, let's click on edit. Go to style, typography. So here we're going to reduce the size to about, let's say, 50 pixels maybe. And the form is fine, and everything else looks just fine. And that's pretty much it. We don't really have to do that much work for the internal pages when it comes to responsive design. So I'm going to go ahead now and simply update. And actually, let me just confirm one more thing. Let me just confirm that the blog page, the text for the blog, isn't too big on the mobile view. Let me just confirm that real quick. Come down here to responsive mode, mobile portraits. Okay, actually we could maybe reduce the size of the blog text just a little bit. Okay, so let's say let's go with maybe 75 pixels. Okay, I think that's fine. And there it is. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead now, update. And we are done with the responsive design. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Alright, so at this point we've come to the end of building our website with the free version of Elementor. Now before we move on to part 2 where we'll work with the paid version of Elementor, I just want to walk you through a few more tips and general ideas on how to modify your website even further. Now, talking specifically about the posts. So let's say, for example, fashion in Istanbul, right? Because we're using the hello theme, the featured image of the posts will not be used by default. Now, this is a shame because typically you'd want the featured image of your posts to appear when the user is actually viewing the post. So one thing you could do is you could simply edit the post, okay, and then from here simply edit with Elementor, and then you can decide to add the featured image as an actual image. So for example, you can just add image in here and then choose the image that represents the post, and in this case right now it is this one right here. Select, and then I can drag the image right up there, and there it is. Now, also note that by default, the content area will be in the form of a section and not a container. So just like we did previously, you can click on edit section and then simply convert to a container, delete the section, and now you will have the container just beneath the featured image. Regarding the title, you can see it's quite big, and if you wanted to modify the way the titles would look like, you can do so. These are actually H1s. So one thing you could simply do is, let me just update this real quick. One thing you could do is you could simply go back to your global settings. So go to your site settings, and then here under typography, where you have your H1, this is where you can now edit the size. So I can click in here right now, and I can even go with Oswald as an example. Okay, I can change the font family to Oswald, and then we can make it maybe just a little bit small. Let's say like 70 pixels as an example. And you can also decide to like maybe make it like italic, or make it extra bold, or things like that. So whatever changes you make in here will reflect across all the H1s in your entire website. Now, for other parts of our website where we've used H1s, like the where travel meets adventure, this one in particular will not be affected because we set specific sizes for this particular H1. So whatever change you make in here to the typography, it's not going to affect the banner text, because the banner text has its own separate styling. And that's pretty much it. Now, going back to the Essential Add-ons plugin, let me quickly mention one thing real quick. Okay, thank you. Let me go back to the back end. Okay, Essential Add-ons. All right, regarding the elements, since we're not going to use all of them, in fact, we only used about 2 or 3 of them, one thing you could do is you could simply disable all of them, disable everything, and then manually simply go ahead and choose the ones that you're actually working with. For example, like the post grid, as an example, you may want to check out the post timeline. It's also a very interesting element, like the info box and so on. This way, you will have less elements to work with, and if like the only elements you will see when working in the backend will be those that you're actually using. So this will save you plenty of time. Same goes with the extensions as well. Only choose the extensions that you actually want to work with, like the duplicator as an example. Maybe you may want to work with the table of contents element as well. So this is just to save time and to make your site load much faster. And regarding other add-ons, there's many of them for Elementor. Okay, if you simply type in Elementor in here, you're gonna find plenty of them. You've got like the premium add-ons for Elementor. You've got the Elements Kit Elementor add-ons. One thing I will say though is that you know, don't just install them for the sake of installing them. Only install the ones that you actually want to make use of. Maybe there are very specific elements within those add-ons that you want to use. And in my experience, the only ones that I've actually used are Happy Add-ons. Happy Add-ons is actually a very, very, very powerful set of add-ons for Elementor. And then you can also try working with the starter templates. Elementor, WordPress, Beaver Builder templates. These guys have some really good templates, people templates for Elementor. And then premium add-ons is also good. And of course, we worked with the essential add-ons as well. So that's pretty much it for working with the free version of Elementor. Join me in the next section where we're now going to begin working with the paid version of Elementor. All right, so let me show you how you can install and activate the paid version of Elementor. Once you've paid and you've logged into your Elementor account, it should be something like my.elementor.com. You simply sign in, and then you're going to have your dashboard right here. To download the Pro plugin, you'll have the link up here. So you can simply click in there, and then you will see Elementor Pro Advanced. Simply download this plugin to your desktop, and then you can go over to your website and then simply upload the plugin as you would any other plugin. And then when you do that, you go to Elementor, come down here to license, and now simply click on connect and activate. All right, so here it's going to say, hey, ready to use Elementor, you want to activate. Right here, you do have the option of becoming a super contributor by sharing non-sensitive plugin data and help them improve the product. I choose to do so, but it's entirely optional. If you don't want to do so, just simply uncheck the box here. And now from here, I'm going to go ahead now and simply activate my license. And there it is. Now you can see that the status is active. And there it is. So you can always go to my account. And this will take you back to my elementor.com. And then in here, you will see all the websites that you're using Elementor Pro with. And if you're also hosting with Elementor directly, you'll be able to make certain kinds of changes in there. So that's it for connecting your website to the paid version of Elementor. I will see you in the next class. All right, so now that we have Elementor Pro installed, it is now time for me to show you how you can recreate the global header by making use of Elementor. Before we can recreate the header, we do need to deactivate the Elementor header and footer builder plugin, because if we don't, there's going to be a clash. So I'm going to come in here right now and simply deactivate Elementor header and footer builder. And as a result of this, if we were to go back to our website, we're no longer going to see any header at all. And also, we're not going to see any footer either, as you can see. So that's okay. I'm going to show you how you can create the header right now. You want to go over here to templates and you're going to see theme builder. All right, let's access the theme builder. And here you can build various parts of your website, like the header, the footer. You can even build a template for your blog posts, which we will do so later. But for me, I'm going to click on header, click on plus, and it's going to load. And we do have some pre-built templates that we can use, but I'm just going to start from scratch. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and simply close this. And there we go. All right, so this is our header right here. And what I'm simply going to do right here is I am going to add a container. And just like we did before, it's simply going to be the one with the 25 to 75% ratio. So I'm going to choose that one. Let's go ahead right now and edit the container, make it full width. And then the style, we're going to add the black background color. And that's pretty much it. Here right now, I'm going to add the site logo in there. There it is. And we can align it to the left. We can also reduce the size so that it's not too big. We're going to go with 60%, or you can go with 65 or 70. It's up to you. And then on the right, we're going to add the WordPress menu. Main menu is selected. We're going to align it to the right. And we're also going to change the color of the text. So we're going to come right here to text color. We're going to make it white. Go to typography, transform, make them uppercase. Let's go back to editing the container. And we'll go down to layout. And then right here, we can align the items at the center. And that's pretty much it for building the header. Now, here's the thing, okay, when you come down in here and you hit publish, you're going to see the condition page appear, like, okay, where do you want to display this particular header? Remember when we built the first global header, we said, okay, display this header throughout the entire website with the exception of the home page. So all I'm simply going to do right now is add condition. And now here, by default, it says include entire site. Okay. However, I'm going to click on add condition, and then here I will switch from include to exclude. And now click on the drop down arrow in here, and I'm going to go to singular, and I'm going to choose front page. Okay. And then we'll add condition again, exclude, singular. And now here, we're going to go with the pages because we want to exclude specifically the home page. So pages, and now in here, I'll type in home. And there it is. So now we can simply save and close. And that's it. We are done. Okay, I'm going to exit this, let's go over to the home page. We don't have a header here, but if we come down here to the blog post, let's click on this link. This will take us to the blog page, and there you go. Here we now have our newly recreated global header, and there it is. If we go to contact page, for example, you will find the exact same header there as well. Now, going back to the back end, go to templates, and then if you clicked on saved templates, if you go to published, right here, published, you click on published. Right here, you will see the header that we've just created. So you can click on quick edit to simply change the name. So we can call this one global header. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead now and simply update. Now, I'm going to give you a short assignment. I want you to now recreate the header specifically for the home page. It shouldn't be difficult at all. Just come in here, duplicate this global header first, and then make the necessary changes. And of course, be sure to say that you want to display the header only on the front page and the home page, and then exclude the rest of the site. So go ahead, do that, and I'll catch you in the next class. Welcome back, and as you can see, I have gone ahead to create the header for the home page. And I know you can't see the logo, you can only see the main menu. Maybe you have the exact same result. We will handle that in just a moment, but let me just show you what I did. It was pretty straightforward. I simply duplicated the global header that we originally built, and then what I did was to simply remove the background color. However, the display conditions, let me quickly show you what I did for the display conditions. It's basically right here. So I said include, oh, sorry, this is for the global header, my apologies. Okay, this one right here. So all I simply did was I removed the exclude entire website and just simply said include singular front page and then include singular pages home. This is what I did to get the homepage header to show up. So hopefully you did the exact same thing. Okay, now going back to the front page, if you did it exactly like I did, you may have run into this issue where you can see the menu, but for some reason you cannot see the logo. This is due to some behind the scenes CSS coding, and I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but I am going to show you how you can get your logo to appear. See, there is a property known as the Z index, and in fact, let me quickly do this. Let me go to homepage header. See, the Z index is used to determine what will appear on top when you have one or more elements overlapping each other. Now, due to the fact that the banner, the huge background image, is overlapping with our header, Elementor has to decide, okay, which of these two should actually appear in front. And by default, as it is the background image that is overlapping the logo. The menu is fine, but the logo isn't. So I'm going to go over here to the container holding both the logo and the menu. I'm going to go over here to advanced, and then here where you see Z index, let's give this a value of 10. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead now and update. And now if we go ahead and exit and let's go to our home page, now you're going to see the logo appearing. The reason is because we have given the container holding our header a Z index of 10, while the Z index value of the banner is at default, which is basically 0. The element that has the higher Z index value will appear in front. To prove this to you, I'm going to give the container holding our background image a higher Z index value. So take a look at this again. I'm going to go to edit with Elementor. Now we're going to edit the actual container itself holding the background banner. Okay, let me launch the navigator, go to container. Okay, so keep in mind, this is the container holding this background image. I'm going to go over here to advanced, and now where there's Z index, I'm going to give it 11. Do you now see that the logo and the menu has disappeared? Because now the container has a higher Z index value than that of the container holding our logo and our menu. So that's exactly how the Z index works. However, if I was to bring this back to let's say 9 or 8 or 7 or 6 or 5 and so on, the container holding the logo and the menu will appear instead because it has a higher Z index value. So that's exactly how you can work with the Z index value to show or hide certain elements that are overlapping on your website. Okay, just to round up real quick, now that you have your header for your front page and for the rest of the website, don't forget to make the necessary modifications for the responsiveness as well. Remember, we had to modify our header for responsive design, so please go ahead and do that. And I've also added the footer. Go ahead and add the footer using Elementor Pro. It is the exact same process as adding the header. Just follow the steps that we did and watch the video where we created the footer, the original footer. Apply the same steps and you will be fine. One thing I should say is that if you prefer not to use the essential add-ons copyright element text, one thing you could simply do here is that for this copyright text, you could simply use a header, the heading like I did. All right, you can make it a heading, make it an H5, give it the white color, and you'll be good to go. So that's it for recreating the headers and footers. Thank you for watching. Join me in the next video where I will now show you how to create a template for your blog posts. Welcome back. Now, I know I said in the previous video I was going to show you how you can create the template for the single post, but before we do that, let me show you how you can recreate the blog page by making use of Elementor Pro. And remember that we had to use elements from the Essential Add-ons plugin in order to create most of this page. So let me show you how we can do so with Elementor Pro. Now, for the first section in here, where you have latest post, let me just go ahead and quickly copy that header, come down here, paste the header. Now, to recreate this accordion right here, the element you want to make use of is going to be the portfolio element under Elementor Pro. So under the post section, you will see portfolio right here. Just click drag and then drop that just beneath latest posts. And there you go. So quick changes, columns is going to be 4, post per page is going to be 4, the image size is going to be full. Now to make the images quite tall, like what we have here, all you need to do is to increase the item ratio. So we can go all the way to 1.5 maybe. Okay, yeah, I think 1.5 is fine. And that's pretty much it. Now, I do know that the image accordion from the Essential Add-ons is better in terms of style. It's more stylistic because when you hover on the image, it expands, it reveals the title of the post. That's okay. We can't do the exact same thing in here. However, we could modify like the size of the text, the background, and so on. So to do this, you can go to Style, and then here where it says Item Overlay, expand that, and then here we can change the color of the text, and we can also make the text a little bit big, maybe like 26 pixels. The font family, I like Oswald, so we can go with Oswald. And there it is. I'm going to make this a bit bigger at 34. And there you go. That's how you can recreate the image accordion that we had earlier. Now, for Europe, Asia, South America, this is going to be very easy. Let me just show you how you can recreate the one for South America, and then you can do the ones for Asia and Europe. So for South America, let me just go ahead again and just copy this header, and then come down here and then simply paste the header. Now for the posts, you want to make use of the posts element. It's the third one under Pro. So just drop posts in there. And then what you want to do is you want to go over here to query. Okay. Now keep it on posts and then include, but then you want to include by term, and then the term would be the name of the category. So in here underneath this box, just simply type in South, my apologies, South America, and there it is. So it's category South America, and there you go. So now it's only going to pull in posts from South America, and you can do the exact same thing for Asia and Europe as well. Now, in terms of actually styling the content, again, very, very straightforward. Image size here will be full. And then for the title, you can make the title maybe an H2. The excerpt will be 150 words. There it is. And then for like the metadata, we can remove comments as an example. And there you go. Under style in here, you can go over to content. And then when you have content, you can now modify like the color of the title. So title right here, color would be black. And then of course, typography, we can make the size a bit bigger. Let's keep it at 22. And then the style, we can make it italic. And then you can do the exact same thing for your metadata, your read more, and your accept content as well. And that's basically how you can recreate the entire blog page by making use of Elementor Pro. So I'm going to leave you to recreate the sections for Asia and Europe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next class. All right, so now let me show you how you can create a template for your single posts. Now, by default, with the hello theme, the template we have for our posts isn't exactly the best. All we have is just basically the title of the post and then the content of the post. And then down here, we'll have the comments section. Now, if you would notice, I have added quite a bit more content to this particular post. I have an H2 here, the beginning, and then I have an H3, the Buddhists. I have another H2 here, the tour, some more H3s, and then conclusion, which is an H2, and then the Buddhist, which is an H3. I did this because I want to show you how to make use of a particular element, which is a table of contents element, while creating your single post template. Okay, let's go ahead now and create the template for our single posts. And we're going to come down here to templates, go to our theme builder. And of course, we're going to click on add new, and we're looking for single post. You can also create for the single page as well, but we're creating one for the single post. And all right, so let's do it this way, okay? We're going to have the featured image appear first. That's going to be how we want to display our single post. Let me close this first of all. So we're going to have the featured image of the post appear first. And now here you would notice that because we're trying to create a template for our single posts, we now have access to special elements under single. So all of this right here, post title, post accept, and so on, all of these will be for the post we're trying to display. So let's go with featured image first. So I'm going to drop that in there. And now here I'm going to go with full size. Let's align it to the left. Okay, let's go back. And then we're going to have the post title appear just beneath the featured image. So there you go. Now I'm going to change the font family. For this, I'm going to go with Oswald. Okay. And the font size, we're going to keep it on 60 pixels. Okay. Now, underneath the title of the post, I want to display some meta information like the date the post was published, as well as the category to which the post belongs. So to do that, we have what we call the post info element here. So I'm going to drag post info, drop it beneath the title. And by default, you will have like the author of the post, the date it was published, and then time, and then comments. Let's remove comments. Let's remove time as well. And let's remove author. But we're going to add a category. So I'm going to click on add item. And then here where it says type, we're going to go with terms. And then on the taxonomy, we're going to choose categories. And there you go. So now you can see it's Asia. And now going back, we're now going to display the content. Okay. So we have the post content right there. Okay. And there you go. Now, I want to introduce you to this element I told you about, which is the table of contents. Table of contents is a great feature to have on your posts, especially when your posts are very, very long. If they're like 3,000 words, 5,000 words, that kind of thing, table of contents is a great way to enhance your post, and it's also great for SEO purposes as well. So I'm going to put table of contents just above the content area, and there you go. So by default, the anchors that the table of contents element will pick will be your H2, H3, H4, and so on. You can of course modify them here if you wanted to, and that's pretty much how it works. Of course, for the marker view, you can go with like bullets instead of numbers, but I personally prefer numbers. And then under additional options, you have things like your word wrap, minimize the box, and so on. You can play with all these options a bit later, but there you go. So featured image, title of the post, the date the post was published, the category of the post, table of contents, and then we'll have the actual content. And then underneath this, we can add like the post navigation as well. So you can have like the next post, the previous post, and so on. And then at the bottom, we can put the post comments. So we'll have like the comments section, and there you go. You also have this particular interesting element, which is the progress tracker. This works best, however, if you are able to redesign your template so that it shows by the side, like it's vertical, either on the left or on the right. So yeah, it's the element that will typically show how much more of the content on the page remains. That's how the progress tracker works. So I personally don't use it, but you may find it useful. And there you go. All right, so that's it. I'm going to go ahead now and simply hit publish. And now we can add a condition. So we're going to simply say all singular. Okay, and of course, we're going to choose posts. So include posts, and then basically for all kinds of posts. So save and close. And there it is. Okay, so let's go ahead now and check it out. I'm going to exit templates. Let's go over to the home page. Let's go to our articles, and let's pick 4 days in St. Petersburg. And there you go. So you can see we have the featured image, the title, date, category, table of contents. This doesn't really actually work that well for this particular post because we only have 2 paragraphs, so it's not the best. But there you go, the post content, and then the previous post, the next post, and that's pretty much how to create a template for your single post. Now for your pages, you also can do that if you want to. You simply go back to your theme builder, and then of course you're going to go to add new, and then you can go with like single page. And of course you're going to have like different pre-built templates appear first. Okay, let's wait for Elementor to display them. And oh, okay, we actually don't have any pre-built templates for pages. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and close this. But then again, right here, you can see you've got the same old information, like, your post title, post excerpt, post content, and so on. So whatever you create in here, once you're done, just as an example, let me just say post title, and then let's add the content. Okay, so I'm going to go with post content. Oh, sorry about that. Go back in here, post content. Okay, so I'm going to hit publish now, and then you simply include pages and then all, and that's how you can create a template for your pages as well. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Let me show you how you can create a contact form by making use of Elementor Pro. And as you can see, I've already disabled the initial form that we created using the WP Forms plugin. So we've got Elementor Pro already activated. So I'm going to go ahead right now and edit with Elementor. And because we're working with Pro, we're going to have access to the form element, which is going to be under Pro, obviously, and it's the one right here, form. Let me just go ahead and remove this remnant from the previous plugin, first of all, and I'm going to dump the form element right there. And there you go. So the form name right here, I can change this one to contact form first. And we have by default 3 fields: name, email, message. Now you can add items in here. You simply click on add item, and then right here where it says type, you click in there, and then you'll have access to a wide variety of additional kinds of fields, like your text area, URL, radio checkbox, phone number, file upload, and so on. You have all of them in here. However, we're not adding any additional fields, so let me just close it. However, for the 3 fields that we do have, if I clicked on name here as an example, I can change the label, I can change the placeholder, things like that. And of course, I can also make it required if I wanted to. So I can say, yes, it must be required. And you can also change the width as well. If you like to start it out, you can change the width. And then for the label, personally, I don't like showing labels in my form. I'd rather just use the placeholder. So right here where it says label, I am going to hide it. And there you go. So no more labels will be displayed. All the users will see would be the placeholders, and I think that works perfectly fine. And there it is. Obviously in here you can also like change the input size as well, from small to medium, large, and so on. Okay, now right here for your buttons, this would be for the send button itself. So you can make the size small, medium, and so on. You can change the alignment, and you're already used to all these features at this point. So I'm going to leave them as it is. However, this is where things get very, very interesting. Actions after submit. So basically what happens when the user has filled out the form and they hit send? What should happen? So when you click on actions after submit, by default, you'll have collect submissions in here. Now, the collect submissions is a feature that you will find in your WordPress backend. Let me show you right here. Let me just go to the backend. Okay, so if you go to Elementor, right here under settings, you will see submissions. So every time somebody fills out the form and clicks send, everything will be recorded in your submissions page right here. That's why we have the sorry, let me just show you again real quick. That's why by default we have the actions after submit collect submissions. Okay, the next one here is going to be email. So we want a notification. We want to be notified that somebody has actually sent us a message. So if I clicked on email right here, this is where we can now modify, all right, what email address should the notification be sent to, or this message should be sent to. In this case, it's going to be my own official email account. And then the subject, you can modify it. And then the message in here, by default, is going to say all fields. So the person's name, email, and message will be in the message field, which is perfectly fine. Now here, where it says from email, I would highly recommend that instead of going with the default here, go with the email of the person that sent you the message. Obviously, I think that will be the right thing to do. So what you want to do here is you want to go back to your form fields, go to email right here, okay? And then what you're looking for is going to be under advanced. And now here you want to grab this short code. Okay, so grab this short code. Now go back to actions after submit. And basically you have email right here. So go to email straight up. And then here where you have the from email, simply paste the short code right there. Okay, same thing goes with the from name. We also want the name of the person to be from name. So I'm going to go back to the form fields, go to name, go to advanced, and then grab the shortcode right here for the name, come down here to email, and then from name, paste it right there. And there you go. Now by default, you can see it says reply to. So it should reply to the email of the person that has sent us the message. And there you go. Now, if you want to, you can add your CC and your BCC as well, if you're interested, and then send as an HTML or plain. I'll just keep it on HTML. Okay. Now, if I go back to actions after submit, you do have other actions you can also add. If you click on plus, you can add like a second email that should be sent out. You can redirect the user to maybe like a particular kind of page. So whatever you add in here under actions after submit, you will see them down here. So I've added redirect. So if I now go to redirect, in here I can add the link to the page where I want to redirect the user to after they have sent us the message. But I'm going to go back to actions after submit and remove redirect. And then we have other options in here, like you can create a webhook. Now, if you have like a mailing platform like MailChimp or ActiveCampaign, this is where you can hook up your contact form to it. So for example, if you're using MailChimp, you click on MailChimp right here, and then you go to MailChimp, and then you'll need to get things like the API key and so on from MailChimp. So depending on the kind of platform that you're working with, you may need to get certain kind of information. Let me go back to Actions After Submit, remove MailChimp. The one for ActiveCampaign, which is what I actually use, ActiveCampaign will require an API key as well, but then also you must choose the list that you want to connect this particular form to under ActiveCampaign. So again, you have additional options in here. If you're working with a ConvertKit, maybe you want to send them to Slack or Discord and so on, you have all those options in here. And then on for the steps, this involves a situation where you're creating like a multi-step kind of form where you have things like page 1 or page 2, page 3 and so on. You can modify what should happen under the steps and settings. And then additional options, again, if you want to work with like the form ID, the form validation, all of these, I'll just keep them as they are. However, you do have your custom messages in here that you can turn on, and then you can customize the kind of message that will be sent when something happens. Like if the message was sent successfully, it would say your submission was successful and so on. You have all those options in here. And of course, on the style, you can style the form, you can style the fields, the buttons, the messages, and so on. I'm going to go ahead now and simply hit update. There you go. Now, to test this out, let me actually try it. I'm going to bring a different browser in here, and let's go to the contact page and let's try this out. So I'm going to call myself James John, and my email is jj@gmail.com, and message is hello, hi there, and I'm going to hit send. Okay, so you can see it says your submission was successful. Now, if I go to my back end, let me refresh the submissions page. Now you can see we do have the submission there from somebody called John James. And if I view the submission, you can see James John, jj@gmail.com, and of course he said hello, hi there. And I even have some information in here like the user's IP address and what kind of operating system he used and so on. So that's how you can work with the contact form with Elementor Pro. However, let me just quickly show you on YouTube. I do have an extensive full-on tutorial on how to use the form element. In fact, it's almost 30 minutes long. So if you're interested, you can check out my YouTube channel, our web monkey. Just search for Elementor Forms tutorial, how to use the Elementor Form widget. Over there, I'll walk you through how to work with all the different types of form fields, as well as the steps. So if you want to create like a multi-step kind of form, I'll show you how to do everything on that particular video. So check it out if you're interested. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Let me show you how you can create a pop-up for your website. And to do that, you're going to come down here to templates, click on pop-ups, and you're going to click on add a new one. And the template here is obviously going to be a pop-up, and let's give it a template name of subscribe. Okay, subscribe. I'm going to click on create template. And just like with any other kind of template, you're going to have pre-built ones, and these are all the ones right here. And the thing is, right here where you have category, you can actually choose the kind of pop-up that you want. Do you want that slides in with a hello bar, one that takes over the entire full screen, flying and so on? I'm just going to go with the classic one. All right, and then right here, do you see this one that says subscribe to our weekly newsletter? I like this particular template, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on insert. Now, if you don't like any one of these, or maybe you prefer like a define or full screen and you don't like any one of the templates, you can of course create your own from scratch. It's not a problem. But I'm going to go ahead now and insert this one because I really do like the design. And all we have to do right now is we can just simply change the letters or the wording. And then in here for the image, it's going to be the background image for the container. So you can go over here to style and then simply change the background image if you want to. And then you can change other things here, like the the subscribe button. Maybe you can change that one to sign up or things like that. But I'm just gonna keep these as it is. Let me just change the receive the latest news. I'm gonna change this one to receive the latest travel news. Okay, and that's it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead now. Let's increase the width just a little bit as well. So we have that dash right there, and I like that. Let's make it 240 pixels. So I do like this dash, and then receive the latest travel news, excuse me. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead now and simply hit publish. Now the thing is, in order for your pop-up to work, 3 things need to be satisfied. The first one here would be the condition, which is basically, all right, where would you like us to display this pop-up? I'm going to go with the home page. So I'm going to go with singular. Let's go with front page. Let's add another condition. We'll go with singular. And then we're going to go over here to pages. And then we'll choose specifically the home page. All right, so we only want to display this pop-up on the home page. You can now click on next. Now will be the trigger. What does the user need to do before the pop-up actually appears? And you can see you've got all the classic triggers right here, like on page load. So when the page loads, you can display the pop-up. And if you activate any of them, you will be able to set your value. So for example, on page load, you can say, okay, after like 5 seconds or something like that, display the pop-up. I don't want that. You have the on scroll to element, maybe on click as well. Like how many times do you want the user to click on any button or anything on the page before it is displayed and so on. And then after an activity, the one I really do like is the classic on page exit intent. So if the user is about to close the window, then the pop-up will appear. So I am going to activate that. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead now, click on next. And then the last one right now would be the advanced rules. Are there any other conditions that should be satisfied before the pop-up can be displayed? And then you have all the classic show after a certain number of page views if you want to, after a number of sessions. You can even go right here and say, okay, how many times should we display this particular pop-up? My advice to you here is if you're going to display it at a specific amount of time, it shouldn't be too many times. Let's say 2 times or 3 times at the most. You don't want to annoy people on your site with all your pop-ups. And again, when arriving from a specific URL and so on, you've got all these options right here. You can hide for logged in users. So let me just activate this one, hide from logged in users. And then you can say show on devices. Do you want to show these on a desktop, on a portrait or tablet? Personally, I don't like displaying pop-ups on the mobile portrait. So I will close mobile portrait and then only display on the desktop and tablet. And then if for some reason you don't want to display on certain types of browsers, you can come in here, say show on browsers, go to custom, and then choose the browsers where you want to specifically display this pop-ups on. So let me deactivate that one. And then you can also schedule a date and a time when you want the pop-up to appear. And that is, I'm going to go ahead now, click save and close. And there it is. The pop-up has been published. And to test it, let me drag browser in here. So this is my Brave browser. I am logged out, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead now and refresh the page. Okay, and let's pretend I'm a user. I've come in here. I'm like, okay, I want to go. I'm going to close. And there you go. The pop-up has appeared. Hey, subscribe to our weekly newsletter. And there it is. So this is how you can work with pop-ups with Elementor Pro. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Let's talk about the template kits as well as the landing page templates as well. So right here under templates, you will have your landing pages. And landing pages, as you well know, these are pages that are meant to like sell a very specific kind of product or a service. So to create one, you can simply click on add new in here. Now, unfortunately, at the time of me recording this video, there aren't too many templates available, pre-built templates. And there's only about how many do we have here? We have 7. There are only 7 pre-built templates, and on the category there were meant to be different types for, like, education, events, health and fitness. For example, if you click in there, you're not gonna see anything at the moment. So unfortunately, at this time, there aren't enough pre-built templates. So you can either go with any one of the ones that you have in here. You can insert and modify, or you can simply close and then build your own template for your landing page if you wanted to. We also have the template kits. Now, template kits are like fully built web pages or websites, and you'll find them on the landing pages. You have kit library, so you can click in there, and then right here you've got them. All right, you've got your fully built websites in here, and the best thing here too is that you can actually search based on like category. So in here you've got like the newest ones that they've added. You've got popular, trending, and so on. And then in here you've got the categories. Do you want it to be like a blog or magazine kind of website, maybe an online store, a portfolio, a simple site, and so on? And then you can even choose by certain kinds of tags. Maybe you want to get a website that has to do with like law, for example. So you take law, and now at this time of me recording, they only have one template kit for a law firm website. But we like travel, so I'm going to choose travel, and then tours as well. So there is only one at the moment, but this looks actually really, really cool. Let me go ahead and view the demo. And it's going to take a while because this is like a full website. And there you go. So this will be like the home page right now, and not bad at all. Not as good as the one we've built, but it's still a pretty decent page. So this will be the home page. Let's check out the about page as well. Okay, there's the about page. I've been traveling since I was 18 years old. Wow. Okay. So they've also got services as well, and yeah, and then they also have like a book now button. So you can also check how it will look like on the tablet and portrait as well. You have all those options. So if you're happy with a particular type of template kit, you can simply click on apply kit, and the kit will be applied to your entire website. So template kits are best when you haven't built anything from scratch and you just want to start from like a pre-built template for your entire website. So you can come in here right now, simply choose the kind of kit you want, apply it, and then you can make whatever necessary changes that you need to make to either like the home page or the about page and so on. And those are basically how template kits work. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Well, there it is. We've come to the end of this mega tutorial where I've shown you how you can build a full travel blog by making use of Elementor. And if you enjoyed the video, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. Share this video with anyone who may feel might benefit from it. And if you're new here to the channel, please do consider subscribing and hitting the bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new tutorial here on YouTube. If you have any questions, comments, put them down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer them as soon as I can. And just as a gentle reminder, if you still want to buy Elementor Pro, please do consider using my affiliate link in the box below. Thank you so much for your support. And as always, I am Alex. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.